Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Black Flags Matter. Yes, the stream is on my channel this week. Thank you guys so much for being on tonight. I know the NBA Finals are on right now and stuff, or they're about to be on, but come on, we all know the Warriors are going to win, so you might as well just sit here and talk NASCAR with us. So we are here with our regular panel tonight, and as well as our special guest, Jc1424.
Hey, it's Jc1424 once again with This Is Not My Channel.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to start off with everyone's intros as usual. So Danny B Talks, you take it away.
Hey guys, Danny B from messing up my words here today. What is English? Danny B Talks here. If you haven't seen today, I put up a pretty good video today. Tried a few new things and editing with it. You might notice it if you watch it. Today's video was the playoffs, NASCAR's biggest issues. And this might be a new series I'm going to be starting, kind of detailing what I think are some of NASCAR's biggest issues. Issue number one I want to talk about is the playoffs and how flawed it really is. Although it makes sense to me, I get it. I know how it works. I know what it takes to win a championship. It still has its flaws that I disagree with. So when the stream is over, go ahead and go over to my channel and watch it. And if you haven't heard of me before, if you are watching me for the first time here on Black Flags Matters channel, make sure you go to Danny B Talks and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know whenever I upload in the future. And with that, I'll pass it on over to Double E Dud.
How's it going, everybody? Eric here. Thanks for being here. This is my first time on Black Flags Matters channel, so I'm excited to be here, excited to read what all the comments have to say, and excited to talk to you guys as always each week. I've been doing a bunch of Out of the Grooves yesterday. Yesterday, I uploaded a video that got a lot of discussion going, talking about Brad Keselowski's recent idea of a hybrid NASCAR race car. I saw a lot of very opposite opinions in the comments of that video. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out after the stream. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. So I'll throw it over to Jarrett.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I'm Jarrett, or you probably know me better as the Iceberg. I got to say, I'm actually doing really good today. I tried the whole being a morning person thing. I got up at 6 a.m., ran, worked out, and took a shower all before 8 o'clock, and so I feel really good. I don't know why that has anything to do with this, but with that, we're going to transition away from me. So go on with the show, guys.
Oh yeah, so I just remembered it is Eric's first time on this channel. Last time my channel, he was at Disneyland. I was about to say Disney World, but that's in Florida. So
I was at Disney World, actually. I was in Florida.
Oh well, I got my Disneys mixed up. So
no, you're good.
Yeah, so sorry about that. So anyways, so JC1424. So he's really been with my channel from the exact
2016, whenever you first started.
Yeah, the very beginning of 2016, summer of 2016, when this channel first started when I was a freshman in college, when I went to school all the way out in Utah. This was originally supposed to be a gaming channel and stuff. And then all of a sudden I get this subscriber, and I'm like, this guy has like almost 1,000 subscribers and stuff. I'm like, what is this guy doing? How did this guy like find me? Which is crazy. I'm like, so really quick,
I was far from that at the time.
Huh?
I was far from 1,000 at the time. I had like 300.
Okay, well, yeah, it was pretty big.
For people with 0, that's close to 1,000.
Yeah,
I remember that experience. It was like, oh my god, this guy's got 50 subscribers. I'm mind blown. I'm gonna take the same thing whenever I'm like 50,000 years from now and be like, wow, 1,000's nothing.
So tell me, how did you?
Would you like to comment?
What? I wasn't listening. I was playing with a piece of duct tape. I'm sorry.
So
that's his comment.
That's the man with the most subscribers, folks. Playing with duct tape.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you gotta do.
So tell me, JC, how did you find my channel in the first place?
Well, I think what was happening around 2016 was I was looking for Let's Plays of NASCAR Thunder 2002 because at the beginning of 2017, I wanted to do one of my own with Bobby Hamilton, and I did. But at the time, I found you playing the game you're doing with Casey Atwood. I don't like Casey Atwood, but that's all you. I'm not going to go into that situation. And then you start doing the NASCAR Thunder 2004 thing, and I really liked your commentary and driving style. They really did, like, they're really high up in how you're able to commentate so well while also driving well at the same time, and it was an inspiration for me.
Oh wow, man! Thanks, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I saw that. I clicked on your channel, and then the what is it called? The little description thing, like about where you can talk about your channel and stuff on your channel. Like you said, I was one of your inspirations, so that really meant a lot. And like I didn't know that I was an inspiration for your channel at that time because I was just getting started. So I mean, I remember before I deleted the first one, the first time and stuff, I was at like 55. I really didn't like where it was. So, and I was also busy with a ton of schoolwork, being a freshman in college and stuff. So I was like, you know what, I'll probably just keep this on hold. And then as soon as I got the channel back up and started, I immediately found you. I was like, yeah, I'm back. Like, okay, I'm back. I knew I left all of a sudden with it.
Yeah,
No,
you came back around the time that I was finishing something with NASCAR 2005. And the reason why I never forgot that you were an inspiration for me is because I use that description as kind of a self-reminder that these are the people that helped me get there. Like there are some channels that they went on break or hiatus, and if so, I'll leave that in the description just so that I don't forget what happened to them. And you came back, and I was like, oh my God, I'm mind blown. I'm having an emotional breakdown right now because this was one of my favorite channels when it first came out immediately.
thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, you and what's the other guy's name? Auto Rockin' 94. That's the guy's name.
I remember him. Yeah,
he also discovered my channel too, which was also really crazy because he had been doing YouTube for a while too. So yeah. But anyways, let's get to the race, and we have breaking news. Jimmy Johnson led a lap. Yes, Jimmy Johnson finally led a lap, guys. We got to talk about that. It was crazy.
He led more than one, didn't he? I mean, he
led two.
2 laps.
He led 2 laps. And guess what? Bubba still led more than him. So Bubba has more laps led than Jimmy Johnson, which is pretty crazy. It's really crazy when you think about that. Bubba led 4, Johnson led 2. So I was like, holy crap. So we got to talk about that for a second. Like, that was crazy. It was crazy to me. He finally led a lap, guys.
And he's got back-to-back weeks with top 10 finishes for probably the first time this season. I don't know for that for sure, but it feels like everyone's been commenting on my videos about how they think Hendrick Motorsports has figured it out. I guess we'll probably talk about that a little later on. But yeah, Jimmy's on a roll, especially given where he's been all year. So exciting for them.
Take it from a Hendrick fan.
Also,
I don't want to say that they've figured it out exactly. They are definitely on a positive swing, though. I remember, Chase Elliott was staying about the top 10 about all day. Jimmy Johnson up in the top 10. Bowman was pretty close to the top 10 up until the situation of Hamlin took him out. So overall, and then even Byron had a pretty good run. So they are starting to they're making positive strides, I think. And I think we'll get into this more when we're talking about this weekend. I think this.
Oh, I'm just saying they've graduated from 2008 DEI to 2010 Ganassi.
That's that's a fair comparison right now.
Yeah, it is.
I think when we get into more about what we're thinking for this weekend, I'm just going to say this. I think this weekend might be the one where a Chevy driver might win. We'll get into more of that later, though.
Chase Elliott's going to win, but that's for later.
No, he's going to add to my second
he
part
was
of the video.
competent at Michigan a while back. I remember that much.
Yeah,
I was there.
We'll get into this more later.
Yeah, we'll get into that more later. But let's talk about the actual race, guys. So what I like to do on my channel is I like to rate the race on a scale of 1 to 10. So I'll go first. I would have to give it probably. I know I gave it a 3 on Twitter, but then I was like, you know what? I should probably. I don't know. I feel like that was a little too low. So you know what? I probably should change it to like maybe a 5, like a 5.5. I mean, there was single file racing at some points and stuff. We did have some wrecks though, and I don't know. It's just that, it's just clean air. I don't know. Just clean air. It's just it's king, man. Once you get out front, it doesn't matter who you are. You're just gone. Like I knew Kyle Larson was trying his best to pass Truex, but you just can't.
That's something that I agree with Kyle Busch on. He said that it was whatever order it was, the leader's gone, and the rest they just kind of do whatever.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of interesting battles for the lead where you had cars. You had early in the race, you had Blaney kind of holding up like 4 cars all right there, but there was a lot of passing for second, third, fourth, but they could just not get around the leader. Clean air was still way too important. I thought I'm going to give the race about a 5. I think the first half, or I'd say the first 100 and basically until Derek Cope got dumped by Kyle Larson, I would call the race a 2 or a 3. But if we're going to rate it as far as Pocono races go, it was like a 6. But I just don't like Pocono. There's just not enough passing for meaningful positions. So I would have given it about 2 or 3. But then after the Cope incident, you had a lot of restarts that weren't just total messes. You did have like the wreck with Bowman and Hamlin, which was kind of annoying, or Jones getting spun by Logano. But those are all interesting talking points because now we get to be like, Hamlin's at it again. Logano's wrecking the 20 again. So it gave interesting talking points, at least for people to joke about. So I'll give the second half race a 7 or an 8. Average that out, give it a 5. I think it was an okay race.
Cry,
One
baby.
of those situations where cautions breed cautions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks, Larry Mack. No, I'll give it a 4. I mean, I think I agreed with it being a 3 on Twitter, but I will say it was better than first viewing. I didn't watch it again. I wouldn't put myself through watching a Pocono race on repeat. But like you said before, Derek Cope crashed. It was a typical boring Pocono race. But I think that because a lot of people are saying because the finish was better and with the restarts that the race was good. And I think that sort of brings up the one of the older questions that everyone always asks but never seems to get an answer to is, does a good finish make it a good race? Because, I mean, like the finish for a Pocono race and for like the last 20 laps for a Pocono race was up there. Like it'd be an 8 out of 10. But, I mean, for a normal race, I mean, it really wasn't anything special. I think people are putting the finish ahead really because I mean, like for instance, like in 2016, the Dover race, everyone rated that like the best race of the year, but they forgot about the initial 350 laps that were painful to get through, you know? So I don't know, 4 out of 10. If it goes for a Pocono race, I'd rate it probably not better than last year, probably not better than 2016. Probably not better. Let's just stop that. It was a Pocono race.
Yeah, I mean, it's Pocono. There's not really much to explain. Pretty much, like, trust me, we all get what you're saying there. Also, one of the things I said on Twitter during the race and stuff, Alex Bowman, which I guess it got some mixed reactions and stuff. I called him a crybaby.
I agree.
Jc1424 tweeted at me. And he said, if Alex Bowman is a crybaby, then I don't even want to know what Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are. I will say I also rate crybabies on a scale. I probably say Alex Bowman's right now averaging a 2 or a 3. And then Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, they're like a 20 out of 10, something like that.
Give Bowman time. Give him time. He'll get up there. He'll climb the ladder. Give him time.
Yeah, but his thing is that he just complains about drivers racing him hard.
Okay, but let's put it in perspective. Like, how often is he high enough up that they would actually put him on TV to complain? Like, how much does he complain when we're not looking?
So if he really complains and nobody saw it really exist.
Yeah, if a Bowman complains in a car but no one's around, does he complain?
Yeah, I'll give him credit. After the
Have you heard Kurt Busch? Have you heard Kurt Busch back in the day?
random fan cussed out Alex Bowman. I didn't hear him complain about that too bad. So I'll give him credit for that.
I will say this as a Bowman fan, and I'm one of his biggest defenders. He does need to stop on the complaining a little bit. You kind of have to man up. I said this before. You are in Dale Jr.'s car. You need to take some advice from him and learn to just brush some of that off.
What you need to do is get a new crew chief. You need to get Greg Ives the hell out of there, out of that organization.
That too.
But I mean, I always thought about this. If you got rid of Greg Ives, who would you replace him?
My favorite crew chief ever since Tony Stewart won that
wrench.
championship was Darian Grubb.
Well, yeah, Darian Grubb. He's currently the crew chief for William Byron. I don't know. I think that works.
That sucks. William Byron ain't pulling anything off this year.
Oh man! Wait, so you're disappointed in Byron this season?
They're not making that big of a deal about him. He's in the top 10 every now and then, but to be honest,
Can we talk about how
such a big deal about Chase Elliott?
Can we talk about how Darian Grubb has bounced between like 3 or 4 major teams in less than 10 years? Like,
that's crazy. He has.
I was just not thinking he won a championship with Stewart, then went to Hamlin went to Gibbs with Hamlin. Now he's at Hendrick. I didn't even know he was William Byron's crew chief. I didn't know where Darian Grubb was. I didn't even know he was with Hendrick.
Yeah, I mean, he was with Casey Kane, and then they turned the 5 into the 2014. Now, I always wanted to ask this. I always thought about this because Darian Grubb, he left Stuart Haas right after he won the championship. So was there possibly a chemistry rift between the two and stuff? And then
I don't remember the deal. I do remember it being interesting because I think they had announced he was leaving before he went on that hot streak in the playoffs and won the championship. So I think they'd kind of struggled that year. I feel like they'd underperformed, and that might have led to the decision being made in like July that, hey, you're not going to be back next year. Start looking for a new job. And then
I never heard an announcement. I thought it was like a surprise too. Like it's just,
I feel like I remember hearing about it before the season ended, but I don't know how late that was. Maybe I'm wrong. That was what, 7 years ago? I don't remember.
yeah.
I don't want to make any rushed decisions on who they should bring in, because then you get a situation where Dale Jr. gets rid of Tony Eury and gets Lance McGrew.
Oh yeah.
Or Dale Jr. gets rid of Tony Eury and gets Pete Rondo.
Oh god, he was such a disaster. But he did win with Regan Smith at Darlington, which is I couldn't believe when that happened. I'm like, Pete Rondo got a win before Junior did. Like, like he's on this long losing streak or this winless streak. Junior is, and Pete Rondo gets a win out of nowhere. What?
Regan Smith is probably the luckiest guy in the world for winning that one, because it was at Darlington, a place where it's definitely, at the time, there definitely was not that much room at all to even try to make a pass. So he got really lucky there.
If you ask Regan Smith, it's perfectly pure racing.
He did not get nearly as much attention as Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch did after that race.
I know that detracted so much from it.
Yeah,
let's be honest though. Like, as time goes on, we're more thankful for that fight than we are for Regan Smith winning. Like,
yeah.
Looking back, that 2011 was such an odd year for like the big race winners. Like,
it was such a fun year.
It was.
You had Trevor Bayne win a Daytona 500. You had Dale Jr. almost winning the Coke 600. Kevin Harvick got it. Then you had Paul Menard winning the Brickyard 400, and then you had Regan Smith winning at Darlington.
And you also had the tie for the closest finish ever.
Oh yeah.
That only happened because of the chase at the same time. And it makes me feel bad because Carl Edwards has lost 3 championships. And it's kind of like, I'm like, maybe that's why Carl Edwards left, because so many times.
Yeah, I got to say, when Paul Menard gets a Cup Series win, an official Cup Series win, it's a crazy year. Probably. It's a crazy season.
And he almost cracked a smile. And get hard for Menard!
And not to mention the year before McMurray won it. That was just an odd winner. That was an odd 2 years for Brickyard 400 winners.
Yeah, and then 2012 made up for having like a normal good driver win by having Montoya hit a jet dryer.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And then 2011 made
sitting there for 3 hours waiting with my dad, looking
and
at the TV screen, like, will this ever end?
Well, then 2013 made up for all that by being the most boring Daytona 500 ever. It was like watching a train the whole 199.5 laps.
God, I have like PTSD on that race.
That was.
I close my eyes and all I see is cars going in a straight line.
I just remember that race because I think Kenseth led for like 30 laps and then blew an engine while leading. And then I sat down and watched the rest of the race hoping it would be exciting, and it wasn't. And I was just mad all the time.
It made me so mad that Junior never could try anything to try to get the lead or anything. But at least he made up for it the next year. So
who won that race? Johnson?
Yeah.
Jimmy won. But there was more. There was honestly more post race coverage for Danica that race because it was her first race.
That's right. At least watching Danica was fun. She finished that one.
It was so weird because with 1 lap to go, she was in 3rd place, and really just the way that race is set up, where they were just single file the whole way. She couldn't do anything to try to get up there.
I remember. I think ESPN actually covered stuff after that race. I think Stephen A. Smith was the one who said it. He was like, "See, I'm not impressed because you finished 8th. Great, people finish 8th every week. How many people?"
Stephen A. Smith talked about NASCAR.
Dude, yeah, Danica was that big of a deal, man. Yeah, they overhyped her that much.
What was that line? Did I hear
like
that
people
correctly?
finish 8th every week. How many people actually win? Yeah, something like that. Like you can look it up. It's like Stephen A. Smith said something. What's that dickhead? Cowherd. He said something.
Colin Cowherd
hates NASCAR.
Colin Cowherd. He's like a professional hater. Him and Skip Bayless. They hate everything.
The dude that has like the nationwide logo for his goatee. What's that dude's name? Jim Rome. He said something. I mean, it was like everyone was talking about that race because Danica was in there, and I'm pretty sure if you looked in like her radio, she probably bitched the whole race about stuff. Why aren't they helping me to the front? Because
Nobody could go anywhere in that race.
Yeah, so since we're talking about the 2013 500, I gotta admit, not only was that a bad race, it was a bad day in general, okay? Because first off, the day before, the whole power goes out in my house and stuff. There's like, well, I mean, not the whole power and stuff, but like there's no AC and the freaking shower doesn't work either. And like literally that Saturday morning, I just had my first official track practice. So I was freaking sweaty. I was a long distance runner. So I was really sweaty and stuff. And like, I get home and they're like, well, you can't take a shower yet. I'm like, well, when is it going to be fixed? Probably sometime tomorrow. Like, what? So I got to go around all day smelling like crap. And then like, okay, you know what? I'm like, okay, at least the 500's on. Okay. And this was when, at the time NASCAR had the NASCAR Hot Pass. So I was like, oh, okay, you know what? At least I get to watch Junior's Hot Pass again. And then I go to the channels, the race is about to start, and it's not there. I'm like, wait, why is it not there? I was like, no, they didn't shut it off. They didn't like discontinue it. Then I look it up on Google and they're like, NASCAR discontinues, or like DirecTV discontinues partnership with NASCAR. I'm like, what? Wow. And then I'm thinking, okay, it's the 500. It ought to be good. Terrible. It was just awful.
And the thing that was so odd about that was like the duels were actually really good. Like if you go back and watch the duels, it was like side-by-side racing for the lead. And then it's like the 500 came along and there was like, fuck it.
Because the problem were the duels were at night, and night racing. I've said this
they were
a long
day
time.
at the time.
Were they?
They were. 2014 was, I think, the first year it was night.
Oh, I'm thinking of 14. I was thinking of the race where Boyer flipped back onto his wheel.
He flipped and had 0 damage after that.
I thought that was 13. Okay, I don't remember the 13 races. Never mind.
Nobody does, really. I had to like look it up myself to.
Still,
I had to do research.
I've always thought Daytona has better night racing than day racing, but that's just me. Or I don't know. But there's a lot of people that probably agree, but I don't know.
I think I'd agree with that.
At least since the Gen 6 era started, I think night races at Daytona have been consistently more entertaining to me.
Honestly, I liked it better when the 500 started at day and then ended at nighttime.
That'd be cool. Like from like 2005 to like 2007. No, because 8 ended at 8.
Yeah.
2010, it technically did, but that was because of a pothole.
Yeah, pretty much delayed it. It actually delayed it twice, didn't it?
You know what's? I just occurred to me. This conversation started with how was the Pocono race. Apparently, it was so great that we went to talking about Daytona 500 from like 10 years ago.
That says a lot.
Get Pocono off the schedule.
Oh, I wouldn't say take it off the schedule, but at least get it down to just a race. You know?
I think that that might segue into something else we could talk about really quick. Like what, like, because I know there's stuff about the scheduling and whatnot. I know Radman made a video.
Yeah, what do you guys?
What's need more short tracks?
Yeah,
the problem is.
I mean, that's
short tracks.
We're a broken. I think NASCAR fans and drivers as a whole are just a broken record on that. I mean, we've said it so much,
but they'll never listen to us though.
No, because short tracks can't fit 150,000 people and have lots of people watching it. Oh, wait, there's Bristol.
That I get.
But they killed Bristol. Well, I wouldn't say kill it, but basically owned it.
I heard there was kinds of weird racing groove lotion, whatever the hell that crap is.
Something like that. I was I saw Radman's video, and was there like any news about like the schedule possibly changing? Because
I don't know, right? I think it was partly because people talking about it with the new owners and stuff, and then like just people in general. I think have been asking him about it, and which pissed me off because I'm like halfway into making like the schedule video I was gonna make, and so I'm like, shit, now I'm just gonna look like a copycat. It's like I probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to talk about at least because everyone's got their own opinions on what. I mean, most people, at least us, it sounds like we'd all pretty much agree they need a couple more short tracks. But I mean, other than that, there's a lot of interesting variables there. And I didn't see his full video, but I saw part of it, and I saw him listing a few brand new tracks that we don't go to or haven't gone to in a long time or whatever. And I thought that was interesting. So I'm sure everyone has a different feel for that.
I think people, for the most part, even though I'm doing it mine based sort of off of both ratings, attendance, as well as racing. I think a lot of people would probably hate mine because I shortened it like by a ton. Like
How many
think
races?
like 24.
That's not bad. I would like that.
I start in March with Daytona because Daytona Daytona historically Daytona historically hasn't always been in February. It hasn't even been the first race, but go from then to the season finale being at Darlington, so you can stay completely out of the NFL's way.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather start the NASCAR championship during the spring rather than the end of winter. To be honest, it'd be more enjoyable for the fans even.
Well, and the racing would be better too.
Yeah.
Because generally, the warmer the track, the better the racing. I've noticed that when it's more slick, and then I also added more. I think there's only a few tracks that actually repeat on the schedule. Martinsville, Daytona, and Talladega. I think everyone else has one or gone.
No Bristol. You're only one Bristol.
Well, I mean, Bristol really hasn't been that good for the past decade or so.
This last year, though, with the nice racing lotion they put on it, it was arguably the best race.
Yeah, but putting Vaseline on a track and having one all right race doesn't make it like
it wasn't an all right race. It was the best race of the season, if you ask me.
Well, good, yeah, I would say okay, but having one really good race over the last like 10 years in that slot. I mean,
true.
When was the last day race at Bristol that was good before this one?
Well, I don't even know when the last day race was in general because so
yeah,
I can't.
So, like weather's also a factor.
2016 was actually the last day race where there was like no weather and stuff. I remember that because Junior finished second, Edwards won, and DeBenedetto finished eighth that race too.
That's right.
Yeah, but that Bristol race where it just would not stop raining.
Oh,
that's all I remember. It was pouring down rain, and it took forever.
It was 2014, I believe, or 2015.
14, 15,
15 had a race delayed, but I don't know how bad it was.
There was one year that they were willing to take it all the way into a night race, but it ended up being like at 2 a.m. when it finished.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, our Bristol race this year, they got split into 2 different days. I'm just remembering that.
Yeah, I gotta be honest here. I'm glad I don't live on the East Coast, and I'm a NASCAR fan and stuff. I'm glad I don't live on the East Coast because when the races gets late and stuff, and if it's on the East Coast and stuff, then you basically have to stay up until like 2:30 in the morning and all that stuff, or whatever. At least on the West Coast, I think the latest race I've ever seen on the West Coast was the 2012 500, which ended at like 9 or 10 o'clock.
But on the West Coast, you got to get up at like 10 a.m. for the Daytona 500. Like, oh my goodness, I'm
always up, so it really don't matter.
I mean, I can't. It's not too bad, but
I'm a guy who's sleeping in. For me, is sleeping in until like 7:30. Like that's all that my biological clock will let me sleep to.
Yeah, I'm go to sleep at 2:30, get up at 10 type of guy. That's me. Nah.
Yeah, so I was looking at so really quick. I was looking at the comments. One of them said that 24 races was too short. Like I don't know.
It's almost the same length as the Truck Series.
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably would put it maybe to like 30, maybe or maybe 28, something like that.
24 is very short.
I would say 30 to 30.
We also have to have the one thing that really helps the NFL out is the fact that they don't have as many like games as any other league, and so there's always the wanting of more. You always want
like
more.
14, 16 games somewhere around there.
16 games and then 4 rounds of the playoffs if you include the Super Bowl. So, they're in September. They're out by the start of February, whereas NASCAR has December, January, bless you, half of February, a good 2.5 month break. Like people can get NASCAR'd out.
NASCAR'd out.
Hey, we're making up terms. Yeah, we're making up terms. I'm doing
Racing
it.
Lotion.
I like that one.
I could have Vaseline all over the track.
The only problem with limiting the race schedule to 24 is you're taking away dates from a lot of tracks. And that is one thing I'll say about Pocono. I don't like the race thing there. I think the racing there is very, very meh at best. However, you look at the stands this weekend, I know this place only seats 60, 70,000, but they're pretty full. I would say they're 80 to 90% full pretty much, twice a year. They're 80 to 90% full. Yeah. And there's some tracks that can't do that. And it's
they also used to get 100. They also used to get 100,000 people, and now they only get 50,000. Like Their attendance has dropped off so bad over
At
this.
where?
That's almost
Pocono.
every track.
Pocono.
Yeah, but I mean, then you got
Pocono,
tracks
get
like
100,000?
Watkins. But then used to, they had to downsize. But then
Gosh,
I think the percentage of how big the audience can be at Pocono compared to what it actually is not dropping as much as you would at other tracks. Just looking at what it was last weekend,
Well,
but it's
you look at
really
tracks
dropping at every track.
you look at Watkins Glen, and they're still selling out, and they haven't taken out seats.
Well, that's a road course. You can't fix a road course.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, but Sonoma is falling too. So I mean, it's like
I think it has to do with
there's a
Pennsylvania.
lot.
Yeah, Pocono and Watkins Glen are up there. Those are the only 2 tracks up there. Oh, I guess New Hampshire is the other track, but those are the only and Dover. Now there's more tracks.
I will
thought
take
about.
Watkins Glen over all of those tracks if they could offer me all those tracks in the same package or Watkins Glen. I would take Watkins Glen.
Would you take Watkins Glen over Vegas?
Hell yeah!
I know.
Yeah.
I figured everyone would say that. I'm only biased because that's my home track, so I don't want to.
If I wanted to watch a fuel mileage
and
race,
you're
I'd keep going to Chicagoland.
And you're biased because you're going to be working for them soon. So
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
shit, they're probably watching. I would like to sincerely apologize for my honest perspective.
You just took a Vegas date off the schedule with your mock schedule there, Jared. So I don't know who you're apologizing to now.
I think I might have taken them both off. No, I'm kidding. There's one of them. No,
Well,
I definitely took Kentucky off because that track sucks.
Well, I just got fired, so anyways. No. All right, so anyways, in other news, another crazy event happened in Detroit. The IndyCar series went to Detroit, and
Pace car crash.
the pace car crashed.
Who was
That was
driving
a
it?
heavy crash.
And it wasn't even like a small one either. It was like now I will say
Off
this.
of a 90-degree corner.
I will say this: pace cars crashing is not like it's not anything new. I can't remember which Indy 500 it was, but like the throttle got stuck. It was like during the 70s. The throttle got stuck and it hit like a wall or something like that. So that happened, and then a pace car got stolen in Talladega in like the 70s or 80s, I think. But this one, it wasn't even like some little small wreck. Like it literally overcorrected itself and it hit the freaking like wall like head on. It was crazy.
speaking of things getting stolen, and this is off topic from NASCAR a little bit, I just want to ask, did anyone see what happened yesterday with the armored personnel like carrier getting stolen from an army base yesterday in Virginia?
No, I didn't see that.
There was videos about it going all over Facebook yesterday, and I read more of the story today. A soldier at a military base, I don't know where it was in Virginia. I don't know how close it is to where Darian's at right now, but a soldier actually stole it off the base, and they just chased it forever down the highway in police cars. I don't know if the thing just ran out of gas and he surrendered, but they did get the guy because I know there was no way that police cars was going to be able to stop that thing.
The question is, did he lead as many laps as Jimmy Johnson has this season? That's
Probably.
Yes, he was in the lead pack. He was in the lead pack.
I see. Great. Wow.
Yeah, but so like the owner of the or I guess like the stock of the guy who was driving the pace car, I think he was like the owner of something. It was some big time.
He was
like,
one of the executives for like.
Well, he wrecked his
whatever.
own car.
Yeah. So technically he did wreck his own car and stuff. I don't know. It was just crazy. It was just like it looked like a really violent wreck. And then like I'm surprised that none of the Indy cars crashed into him too. I was surprised by that.
Well, they're professional drivers. And speaking of being professional, we are not. So would you please lick the like button?
Yeah, lick the like button, guys.
Yes,
right
this
now,
ratio is atrocious. 90
yeah,
to 34.
we're
What the
at
hell?
90 viewers right now, or we're averaging that. Let's get it up to 100. And I think the last time I checked, there was only like 32 likes. So
34.
34 now.
Yeah, they need to get their ass in gear.
Oh,
Come on,
okay.
guys.
You know what? Somebody wanted to be a complete douche and disliked it, but you know what? Yeah, so good on you. And
I think that pace car wrecking was all a publicity stunt. Since he was an executive for GM, driving a GM brand car, I think he was wrecking it to show off. And then he probably got out and did like some cartwheels or something to show how advanced the safety is in that vehicle. You can wreck this thing on a racetrack. And look at me, I'm just dancing on out of here. I'm like 72 years old, no injuries whatsoever. Buy my cars. Thumbs up. That's probably what you'll see in the commercial for like the Super Bowl. It'll be like one of those like they did with like Pepsi did with Jeff Gordon and stuff. There'll be like one of those types of like prank ads, you know.
See, that should be like that. What's the Geico commercials where it's like help protect you from mayhem, like me.
Yeah,
And it's like him crashing. It's like I'm your GPS. Recalculating.
Turn right now.
No, it's like turn left now.
Turn left now. Well, that's a new video idea for you, Jarrett. So we're gonna wait on that.
It's not Chase
Legal
Elliott. I can't do
U-turn
that.
in 1 foot.
Yeah, it's not Chase Elliott. I can't do that. Plus, somebody already did that with Montoya hitting the jet dryer. There was a video where it's like I like the whole like I'm your GPS blah 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 recalculating turn right now, and it shows Montoya's car go and spin around into the jet dryer.
That reminds me. Remember when Allstate sponsored Casey Kane? I think they had a commercial with him in it about the
those
girls who were
three
like obsessed with him.
Ladies kept following him everywhere.
Classic.
There's worse things that could have happened.
Those stalker ladies. Yeah, Casey Kane, for you younger fans who are probably can't imagine this, but at the time, Casey Kane had stalkers. He was a big deal when he first came in. So
You can imagine how the stands and infield was once Budweiser sponsored him.
Mhm.
Oh God.
Oh my God, it's Casey!
Remember the Toyota ads with Denny Hamlin shirtless in that lady's driveway washing her car?
It's Denny time.
Yeah, that.
I needed something to distract from his face.
For a second, I was afraid nobody else remembered them, and I was the only one. But okay, I'm glad.
No, it's not a repressed memory.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't like see it in my dream on accident. And here I am, regurgitating it like it's fact.
That'd be a nightmare.
No.
Yes, Wedding Carnation. A lot of people, including me. Yes, the Casey Kane had a lot of fans back in the day. I think he's like 12 years old. So yeah, it's hard to understand now, but trust me.
Actually,
12 years ago was when he was good.
a while back,
Oh, go
me
ahead.
and my girlfriend, we were in my room together. We were just playing video games, and she decided she wanted to record a video of her playing NASCAR 2005, and she gave Casey Kane this nickname. She called him Pretty Boy.
Yeah.
She was not into him.
Hey, by the way, yeah, Jc1424's girlfriend has a YouTube channel. She only has one NASCAR video, I think.
She doesn't really upload that often. She just wanted to upload a video of playing NASCAR game because apparently girls don't do that.
Just a suggestion. I mean, there's no other girl like Let's Play like YouTuber who like plays video games like NASCAR games and stuff. If she made a series out of that, I would subscribe. So just a suggestion.
I feel bad for our opponents if that'd be a reoccurring thing.
All right. So in other news, the NASCAR world pretty much got triggered over this one douchebag. Shall I say his name, or should someone say that? I'll say it.
He'll be fired before the end of his name.
So yeah, I hope I'm saying this right. Keith Oldman, I said it right?
Olbermann.
That's correct enough. Who cares? Who cares about pronouncing his name right?
Yeah, so,
like I said, he's probably already. Oh, yep, he's been fired.
And it wasn't like he went out and it wasn't like he went after anybody like Timmy Hill. No offense, Timmy Hill fans, but like he went after the big dog, the big fan favorite, Dale Jr.
Yeah,
Wait,
he went
got
after
fired?
someone big.
He did?
Who?
Keith Oldman got fired.
No, that's the running joke. I mean, he got fired for
I mean, I'll make this
CNN.
post. Whenever I saw what he was posting on Twitter, I responded, I hope you get fired for defamation because that's all it was.
Well,
Yeah, pretty much.
He's been fired from ESPN twice. He's been fired from CNN and MSNBC, and he also had his own thing online.
Third strike.
He also had his own thing online that had no one watching and went under. So he's bad luck Brian, except it's like all self-inflicted.
Yeah, like it's just very odd how this guy, he's really old too. Like how this old dude keeps getting hired and stuff.
Should I tell them the stuff I told you guys before the stream about him?
Yeah,
He
go ahead.
doesn't drive.
Yeah. So apparently he doesn't have a driver's license.
He doesn't know how to drive. He doesn't have a driver's license. What the hell else did I tell you guys? Because there was something else that was pretty damn funny that I had told you guys too, but I can't remember. There's so much there's so much like shit and skeletons in the closet of Keith Little Oberman. So
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad because when he used to have that show on ESPN before he started making fun of NASCAR and stuff, I actually watched it quite
back
a
when he
bit.
was professional.
Yeah, this was back when he was professional and not a total douchebag as he is now. But what exactly? Someone explain what exactly did he like tweet out about?
He tweeted out that it's like NBC dragging out this like retired stock car or cab driver on here, and why won't they understand that these sports don't have an overlap? And it's like, man, I must have been imagining all those Blackhawks jerseys at Chicagoland for the last, like, I don't know, 11 years.
Yeah, I didn't really get that either, because when you think about it, okay, if you want to talk demographics here, all right, I guess like what the running stereotypes that I get all the time, that the widest sports in the world are hockey and NASCAR. So, I mean, if you want to use stereotypes here, they have pretty similar fan bases when you think about it. Now, I'm not saying every fan is like that or whatever, but I mean, if you want to use stereotypes, then that's like basically same demographic.
So I remember now what I was gonna. Oh shit! Now I don't. I don't know. This is what early stages of dementia looks like. Sorry. Yes. He said to go turn on the NHL Network, and then it was like really funny because at that time he's tweeted that Kurt Busch was on NHL Network for Vegas. So like this fucker couldn't get anything right that night, and then he got ratioed horribly. Like Junior, I'm pretty sure Junior and NASCAR fans basically won the night against him. So like, yeah, I mean he's I don't know. He's ugh.
It was just tone deaf. It was just clueless. I don't know, because you're right. Like hockey, NASCAR, like they're not the same. They don't have all the same fans. But it's not like you know, it was the NBA Finals and LeBron James is out there getting interviewed by Kevin Harvick. That would seem clueless. But it just seems ridiculous. What's the point of him tweeting that out? I get he works for ESPN. Is this just take a jab at his competitive rival? Like, I honestly have no, like.
He's attacked NASCAR before. It's NASCAR that he doesn't like.
I don't get it. I don't get what his angle is there. Who is going to read his stuff and be like, oh, yes, I'm really here for that anti-NASCAR content. Oh, my gosh. Can you please bet? It's like when people watch Colin Cowherd to hear him rant about Russell Westbrook. I do that because I think it's funny. But nobody's going to Keith Olbermann to hear him talk about how annoying NASCAR is. Like, it just feels like it just came out of left field. And I'll be honest, the tweet didn't bother me. I read and I'm like, what a dummy. And then I saw like billions of, like, not billions, but at least 24 people in my feed tweet about it. And I was like, I was honestly kind of annoyed with NASCAR fans and NASCAR in general for giving this guy so much attention because he doesn't deserve it. Because the tweet, it was annoying. It was tone deaf. It was clueless. It didn't make any sense. It made him look petty. But at the same time, it's like I was just kind of shocked so many people.
I guess the deal is kind of the history like behind it too, is because like he's actually went on before and responded to like on NASCAR's account on Twitter, like their tweets. So it's like he goes out of his way like to talk shit, but he can't take it back.
Exactly, but he's not. He's not Stephen A. Smith. He's not a professional 9-year-old. Yeah, he's not a guy that, like you say, he's been fired from several networks. He's not a prominent figure these days. Nobody's logging on to be like, oh, I got to hear what Keith has to say about the NBA Finals. Like nobody listens to him. He's not worth the time of day. I feel like the fact that Dale Jr. bothered tweeting back at him anything at all, I feel like was a mistake because he doesn't deserve the attention for it. And I think you're right. I think at the end of the day, there are enough NASCAR fans to kind of come to Dale's defense that I think at the end of the day, I think he lost whatever battle he was trying to start, but it was just, I don't think there needed to be a battle in the first place.
Yeah. And
go ahead. I was going to say, if we want to talk about people who need to get fired, I just want to throw this out here. Whoever is running NASCAR's YouTube channel right now, you're doing.
Oh God, that was so stupid.
No. They did it again.
What? Yeah, last night. Yesterday.
No.
Did they get hacked again?
Listen to me. 24 minutes ago, Ryan Blaney gives young fan Dover checkered flag. 23 minutes ago, credit one bank, 1 to go. Elliott comes out on top in Can-Am Duel 2. 6 minutes ago, best in-car audio, Dover cutoff race. What are they doing?
Wait, it just came out again?
Those got pestered.
Yes.
Those got come out yesterday, and now they're coming out again.
What are they doing? This is old. This is irrelevant.
NASCAR, hire us.
Yeah, you know what, guys, in the comments right now, open another tab, go on NASCAR's YouTube channel, comment on their last video, and ask them what the hell are they doing? What are they doing? Tell them to hire us. just hire us and we will take care of this stuff for them. Okay.
See,
That's
all I'm
all the way
thinking
back
about-
from Daytona, literally.
See,
Yeah.
all I'm thinking about right now is that one guy. You are really dumb, for real.
You
That
were really so dumb.
I mean, this is the kind of thing when you just go and spam upload old stuff like this, that will a little bit make people unsubscribe from the NASCAR YouTube channel.
I can't tell if it's them doing it because they want the extra views. I honestly think it's them uploading it. Did they get videos deleted? You know, YouTube, their algorithm's kind of a mess these days. They have videos getting deleted for no reason. The videos getting demonetized. Perhaps NASCAR had a bunch of videos from last year, just random videos, get removed, and they just thought, hey, we should put them back up here. Because, yeah, you're right. It's too many for it to make like this is planned. This almost feels like it was kind of a last minute. I don't know.
I can't think of why they would get them removed though.
Here, I'll tell you.
It doesn't always matter.
This is their deal right now.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
That's it. That's all that is the explanation.
I'll be honest. Is anyone here actually subscribed to NASCAR? Because I'm not actually subscribed.
I was, and then I saw this
subscribe to
crap.
NASCAR, but I don't have notifications turned on.
I mean,
See,
I just I don't know. They don't upload anything I care to see usually.
It was just something that I saw a comment about it, and I checked my subscription box, and sure enough, they were doing it again.
Dude, it's you know what? Let's just let's picture this. All right, let's just say NASCAR doesn't like spam or anything like that. It's just the fact that their YouTube channel is so bland, it's so boring. Like there's
situation. There was a situation last year with their channel where their thumbnails dropped in quality by like 80%, and that was for like a month.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I'll go to NASCAR's YouTube channel and watch videos, but I don't subscribe because every Sunday there'll be like 10 new videos, and I just don't care to see them.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm just gonna say they don't have people in there who even know how to do search engine optimization. This NASCAR podcast is beating Ryan Blaney's podcast actually.
It is actually. I was just about to bring that up.
And we have less money funding this than Jimmy Johnson has laps led this year. I mean,
literally, there's no money that goes into this. We're just a bunch of guys with laptops and stuff, or on our computers, just in a live stream talking about NASCAR. That's basically it. You know, I think that's why fans really like this podcast too, because it's simple. It's not over saturated and stuff like that whole. What is Blaney's show called again? See, I don't even remember the name.
Actually, when we first brought it
Last
up,
case of emotion.
Yeah,
when we first
Last
brought
case
it up,
of emotion.
when
What does that mean?
Weird name. That's a weird
it's
name.
what the hell is it from? I remember.
Last case.
Blind Blaney, because is Star Wars, love for Star Wars or something.
Yeah,
but
they
that's
have
not
it
where
like a
it's
Star
from.
Wars font, but
No,
it makes no
it's-
sense.
It's from Anchorman.
Oh, that is from it.
Yeah, but I mean,
But like, who's gonna get that reference? Like, how many people are gonna get that reference though?
hey, we were all alive in 2004.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I know everyone, not everyone.
It goes back to the fact that NASCAR is stuck in 2004, even with that.
Perfect. Yeah, it's very fitting.
It's like a self-parody.
You know what? You know what's funny? When they posted that video, literally 5 minutes after, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna troll their comments, and I literally promoted our live stream on that channel, and it was the top liked comment, and I got a guy in there that says, "Man, I really love your name. I really love the name."
We should each day go from one of us just leave a comment on whatever their newest video is and see it just get voted right to the top every time.
Here's what we need to do. We all just need to, every time they upload something, put NASCAR, hire me, and just leave that every day.
And then just have it like explode. I know it's gonna get a ton of likes from whoever posts it in here and stuff, because the NASCAR YouTube community knows who we are. So it's definitely gonna get top comment pretty much every time.
You know,
Actually,
we should show later. I think we should show what happens when a spam account likes to try and DM me. Should we do that at the end of the show, Darian?
We will do that. We'll do that at the end of the show, because that one account followed me too. It was really funny.
Did you guys see in the chat, Danny and Eric? Did you guys see in the chat what the video I left in there?
Oh yes, I did. That was quite interesting. Yeah,
I think I might sync it up to music and then put it on YouTube just to.
Okay, everyone go, if you can sometime, go to NASCAR's most recent upload. and best in-car audio from the Dover cutoff race. I see what Incarnation left a comment here, said what's going on with the channel, and then I left one that said NASCAR
everywhere though.
I left one that says NASCAR, hire me, I will fix this channel.
I will leave a comment there right now too. So let's all everyone just go like our comments up, man. It's crazy. Oh, Grip Dog uploaded, so I'll watch that right after we're done with this.
Yeah, I think Grip Dog might have even I think he even put me into that video because he asked me if he could use like a couple minutes for me because I was wanting to see him in Charlotte, but I never got a chance to actually run into him, unfortunately.
We should have Griff Dog on. Probably we can't do it. I don't know. Maybe we could do it next week if that's cool with everyone.
Yeah, I've been saying for a while we need to get Griff Dog on here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
on here.
some of my favorite YouTubers I think that y'all should eventually have on this show would be What If Racing or maybe even NASCAR on MDK because those are two guys that I'm well associated with.
I left 2 messages and a message and an email for What If. I haven't got anything back. So
I mean, me and him, we actually talk a lot, like almost every day.
Dude, ask him if he'd like to come on sometime. I mean,
absolutely.
We don't want to like spam him or anything. It's just
no, of course not. I mean, I think he might be open to it. And sometimes he's kind of like, I've got a lot on my schedule, or maybe he doesn't like feel motivated to do so. He's kind of shy guy sometimes.
Dude, no problem. We're trying to plan out further and further out so that people have more time to get prepared. So we'd be willing to schedule further in the future.
Yeah, so this is just one suggestion. I remember that me, Danny B Talks, and the Iceberg, after one of our streams we literally sat for like 2.5, like I think it was an hour or like 2 hours, and we planned out this the streaming schedule. So after this, how about one of us post like, I don't know, I guess you have the schedule there too. Why don't you post that on Twitter and everyone will retweet it so everyone knows, like, you know, what stream the channel's, you know, what stream, like, what channel has the stream, you know, for
if you do tweet us during the week, we will always probably get back to you and let you know for sure. But, and that's another thing, you know.
Sorry, really quick. Ultimate Dragon 23 is never coming on here. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and then MNR, but I don't know what your name is. I'm not gonna try. It says to send a tweet to David Land on Twitter. See, the thing, I don't want to like spam him on Twitter, like because I think his DMs are open. I left a DM, but I don't want to. Like that's the thing. I'm trying not to spam people asking because that's just not cool.
I feel like at this point, David Land knows about this and he knows that we want him on here. So if he's just not wanting to, then I would respect that. I would respect his opinion.
I know he doesn't know who I am because everyone from the stream, like I left one comment like, oh yeah, I'm really excited for Indy or something like that. And then like after that, there were like 12 comments of like, you should get on the Iceberg stream. He's like, who is the Iceberg? I don't even know who this is. I'm like, I do stuff.
And speaking of I see everyone wants to get the Lombard Bros on here. I would like that. And we just lost. He'll be back.
Lombard Bros.
So they want you guys want them on here too. Also, I was also in contact with that one kid that's also in his vlogging videos. His name is Brendan. I can't remember his last name. He has a YouTube channel.
Brendan Littell. Yeah. We used to be friends.
Yeah, him.
Prodigal Son has returned.
There are multiple Lombard Bros.
Well, no,
there's Joseph Lombard and Zachary Lombard. Brendan
Honestly,
is just their friend. They met at a racetrack.
I'd never heard of Zachary. I guess I should have known they're called Lombard Bros, but I never knew there was a second one. I don't watch their videos.
They are sponsoring the car again this weekend, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I still watch Joseph a ton, but Zachary, it's just I've got a big work schedule, so I haven't been able to. But I actually see a member of Lombard Bros Gaming in 2016.
Sylvie Gang says get Spencer Boyd in the stream. I think he still follows me, so I could see about DMing him.
Who is Spencer Boyd? I don't know who this guy is.
I don't know either, but if people want him.
He's a race car driver, I know. I saw his diecast, and I was like, who is this guy?
Was he a truck series driver?
NASCAR and MDK,
I've seen that name before in NASCAR Heat 2. I think Spencer Boyd in NASCAR Heat 2 somewhere.
I think he's an Xfinity Series driver.
I mean, I could just turn the game on right now and find out.
What incarnation? No one realized the furry Balto anyone?
So, someone asked, are there any good female NASCAR YouTubers that we know of? Well, the only one is Ultimate Dragon 23. We all know.
Oh, and we know how much Darian loves her.
Yeah, no kidding. And but like there are females. I don't know. It's more so on Twitter where I see more females tweeting about NASCAR and stuff.
Yeah.
Than there is on YouTube. There is.
Yeah, I see a lot of girls that tweet about NASCAR and etc. Mostly because Joseph Lombard hearts every tweet from a girl that likes NASCAR.
Logan
Okay.
Mayo asked Natalie Decker on the stream. Listen, if you guys are commenting on our videos and favoriting ours up and stuff, like they've seen it. So if they do, we'll let you know.
We're not gonna give up here. We're gonna keep spamming her. You guys are gonna keep commenting on her videos. Go look up her channel. Go type in Natalie Decker on YouTube. Open another tab and go comment on her last upload to come on the stream. If enough of you guys comment, they will have no choice but to be like, okay, you know what? They're annoying. We'll just go on the stream just to shut them up.
I mean, I'll be on the ground in Chicagoland's infield, and we have pit passes, so. For ARCA, so I could probably get something going. I'm gonna try and talk to Jesse Wuji again. Because that guy is a really awesome person.
Just go on her channel and comment, hey, you should join the weekly NASCAR podcast on YouTube, No Balls. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it, pig. That'll do it.
Grip Dog asked, or he commented, "Isn't that harassment?"
Yep.
I don't know. I wouldn't think it was it'd be harassment.
I would say if you're doing the same thing and being mean about it, yeah.
I like Rusty's comment. He's not commenting on the surgery video. Was that her most recent upload? Because that would look like such a jerk move. She's over here like, I just had surgery. Hey, I know you're in pain, but go on these people's podcast or I hate you.
You know what would make you feel better? Going on the podcast.
I know that she's fine now because she posted like on Twitter like she's 100% ready to go to race again. So
no, but how about Brendan Poole, man, he did a good job coming from a lap down and stuff, and he got a top 10.
Yeah.
Everyone was joking that if Brendan could have won that, then technically that could have counted as her first win too.
I wouldn't count it though, technically, but I wouldn't count it.
Yeah, in the history books though.
Yeah. The history books are basically what matters. So basically, like 200 years down the road,
nobody reads books anymore. They'll forget about it.
Yeah,
I found Spencer Boyd in NASCAR Heat 2. He drives the number 12 grunt style truck.
See?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was a truck series driver.
Yeah, that's where it's from. You see, okay, so what was I about to say? Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead. Someone else.
I like AB68's comment here. Brendan Poole exists.
He does exist.
Oh, and while we saw Rusty in the chat, let's also remind the chat that we need to vote Rusty president in 2020.
Yeah, vote Rusty Walrus president in 2020.
Okay. I'll ask nicely. I won't spam or anything. Rusty, make Rusty for 2020 shirts. I will buy them. Seriously, like no BS. I will buy them.
As soon as I get my ad revenue, I'll buy them too. As soon as I get that happens.
Oh man, I have no idea whenever YouTube is going to get onto that crap, man. They keep saying it's going to be at the end of June. Before that was April, and they
delayed it.
Yeah, I reached the numbers too, so now I'm patiently waiting for probably my birthday's in September, so maybe that'll be close enough.
Hopefully,
there's this guy in the music community that I watch. He reached like 12,000 subscribers within 2 months. He's still not getting any monetization.
12,000 in 2 months? That's crazy.
Yes.
And he's still not getting paid.
Viral with all his memes and stuff.
And he's still not getting paid.
Nope.
Speaking of
my dad just sent me Norm Benning for vice president. My phone's going off. I will mute it.
Whoa.
You gotta mute it, man. All right.
Speaking of music and stuff, maybe the chat can let me know about this. One thing I've been thinking about, some of y'all see I have music that's in a lot of my videos. I've been thinking about kind of releasing like the Danny B Talk soundtrack, so to speak. So like putting up some videos here and there of like the music that I actually use in my videos, and just kind of give it like a nice little touch to it. People can actually just watch it if they want to. It probably even bring in a good amount of views when people search for those songs too.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I just looked at her video. Wow, got a lot of comments. So hopefully they see it, but we'll see in time. We'll know in time.
See,
So
I thought I turned
I'm
my
going to.
sound off, and I didn't realize that I didn't. So
Well,
yeah,
that happened to me last week, so.
well, at least it wasn't the 4th of July, because I tell you guys what I'm gonna have as my 4th of July ringtone.
no,
No what?
You ever heard of the theme from the movie Team America?
no way.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna have that as my ringtone.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. And for all of you who don't know it, like, maybe we'll leave a link in the description after the stream.
so now that we're basically over an hour now into this live stream, let's
Yeah.
get to this weekend's race. Michigan.
Michigan.
One of the most exciting passing racetracks on the circuit. No single file racing at all here. No, I'm just,
Never.
no, I'm just being
But big thing this week about it that I think a lot of especially older fans are gonna like is that it's on Fox, not Fox Sports 1. So
That's
everyone
right.
can watch it.
Yeah, Fox's the past few years, since FS1's started, their last race on Fox is usually the Coca-Cola 600, but this year they changed it and they've added a race to Michigan, which is cool. So
All right.
it was Fox this weekend.
Michigan's
Kyle
basically
Larson
like a
finally wins.
Pocono that you can see all the way around if you're sitting about 30 rows or higher. That's really
Michigan's
Yeah.
actually a really fun track to be at. I'll admit it's really, really fun, even if the racing isn't up to par.
They sell a lot of tickets for those races. I've noticed that. So
The grandstands are pretty sparse, but like you go in the infield, like
they have
holy
very big
shit.
grandstands, and
Yeah.
I feel like I know a lot of people go to those races.
Dude, I was in the infield in 2016. I was at the race that Junior got concussed, and it was like the whole place is just filled. Like you have about it feels like you have this much room between every camper. Like it's insane how packed in it is,
Wow.
but it's such a party. It's like how every track used to be back when it was like the most really, really popular.
2004, 2005.
Yeah, that's how Michigan's infield is all the time. It reminded me of like my first few years at Chicagoland, like in 2007, 8, and 9.
Do you know what's so weird about Michigan and Dale Jr. during his tenure with Hendrick Motorsports? Every 4 years was something very big for him. 2008, he wins. 2012, he wins.
I was there.
2016, he gets a bad concussion.
I was also there.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. I wasn't even watching the race. I was on my way to Utah to go move in. I had a scholarship, so I had to move into like my dorm early. I had to stay over there over the summer. I was listening to it on the radio. I was like, God damn, Chris Buescher. And I was kind of thinking to myself in the back of my head, like, hopefully he's all right. Like, hopefully he doesn't get like concussed or anything like that. Like, I thought about that for a brief moment. I was like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Dude, at the track, it's like you could they showed his face or whatever, and it's like you could tell it's like, oh man, he looks fucked up. But no, actually after that, my uncle was like, hey Jarrett, come here. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? He goes, it's like, if you got a picture of Chris Buescher's car, I'm like, yeah, sure. It's like, put this on Twitter, and I put him like, thank you, NASCAR, for giving this Make-A-Wish driver his greatest dream. Now he can go die. I was that cancerous Dale Jr. Junior Nation tweeter at one point in my life. I'm not proud of it.
I think some Junior Nation fans were at one point. I have to admit, I was too. I remember those days.
I've never thrown beer on a track, so
yeah.
Sober.
So, anyways, back to the Michigan race this weekend. So,
I'd like to kind of give my predictions whenever we can start.
Yeah, I was about to do that. So let's start off with winners first. I'll go first. So I remember I said Chase Elliott was going to win this one. In my heart of hearts, I want Chase Elliott to finally pull it off this week. And it kind of looks like it could happen because Hendrick has been improving. But realistically, you got to look at the stats and all that stuff. Kyle Larson, Chip Ganassi and that team, they've certainly turned their bad luck around. And I think Kyle Larson is going to get started off with a summer run that was similar to Tony Stewart's summer run in 2005, where he won all those races in the summer. So I still think Kyle Larson will probably get somewhere between 3 to 5 wins during the summer. He's going to go on this hot streak that will set him off to get his first championship. So we got to go with Kyle Larson for this week.
All right, so I'm going to come in here now, and I'm going to be like Larry Mack here and break down the stats of what you need to know.
Little
So,
Larry. based on the trends.
So coming into this weekend, who's the hottest guy right now in terms of not looks, obviously we're not talking about that kind of stuff, but as far as performance. Okay, so
Eric Cope.
Martin Truex Jr. He's bringing in the momentum of that Pocono win. Toyotas are always usually pretty good this season, and as they have been last year, but Truex not going to win at Michigan. Who could also be good at San Toyota? Kyle Busch, maybe. He's won 4 races this season. Won Charlotte. Charlotte's a little bit smaller than Michigan. No, not going to be him. Could it be the big boy himself, Kevin Harvick, who's won 5 races in the All-Star race? No, not this one. Could it be another strong Ford we've seen this season? Could it be the boy, Ryan Blaney? Could he get it done? He's had a lot of momentum. Maybe. He's kind of my dark horse for this weekend. But he's not my pick.
Oh.
I will say this weekend, Chevy's finally going to get it in. Kyle Larson, 4 races in a row. Kyle Larson's going to take the victory for the 4th time in a row here in Michigan.
Wait, what the? You had all these 2018 cars, and then you whip out a Target Kyle Larson for your pick?
I can't buy him yet. And actually, the other 3 are from 2017 too. But they don't change. But I don't have his from this year.
Well, I thought he was going to say Jimmy Johnson for a second there. I'm sorry. I thought it sounded like you were about to say Johnson, at least from my perspective. I was like, what?
I still don't think it's time for him. His time's coming, but not this week. I think it's going to be Larson. Larson's been pretty consistent. When we were at Kansas, pretty similar track. He was running very well. Looked like he could win that one. He's proven he knows how to win at Michigan 3 times in a row. This will be his 4th one in a row.
You had me on the edge of your seat there. So you two have both picked Larson so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Larson seems like the safe. I don't know if that safe pick is the right word because he doesn't have a win yet this season. But yes, he's won 3 straight at Michigan. I think Martin Truex Jr. is a decent pick only because he just won at where were we? Pocono. He just won at a big flat track like Michigan. Plus, he won at Fontana earlier this year, which is kind of the sister track to Michigan. So I think Truex is a pretty good pick. If you're betting your life savings, maybe Truex is the safest bet. But I'm not betting money on NASCAR yet because I don't. Is it legal in wherever it is? Is it legal in Michigan?
It's illegal. It's legal in Delaware.
I know, but as Michigan, I don't think they've given it the green light yet, so we can't bet yet. But
as long as you don't get caught.
That being said, I'm not going to go with Larson. I'm not going with Chevy. I think Larson will be in the top 5. I think he'll be a threat. I think Chase Elliott will be a threat. I think this will be the best race we've seen from Chase Elliott this season. Maybe not necessarily finished. He did have a second, I think, earlier this year. I don't necessarily think this will be his best finish, but I think this might be his best run. However, I'm going with the tried and true blue ovals that have dominated this year. But I'm not going with Harvick or any Stewart-Haas cars. I'm not even going with the veteran Penske guys. I'm going with Ryan Blaney, who I think I picked actually for Pocono last week. I don't know if this is against the rules, but I'm going with Blaney for the 2nd week in a row. I think Blaney wins at Michigan.
There is only one rule. There are no rules.
I like it. Good.
See, this is going to be a little tough because Blaney, I think, will be good. My pick is going to be Chase Elliott in 2nd. The winner
is going
to be somebody. Yeah. I already know I'm going to be like the way Colin Cowherd is to everybody is how I will be to Chase Elliott fans. No, I think the winner this week is somebody who has an average finish of 12.8 at this track. He has a pole here, but he's never won. And I think this week at his home track, Brad Keselowski gets the win.
That is surprising. He's never won at his home track.
Never won. He would have won had Jimmy Johnson not blown an engine in 2012. He had the lead. He would have won, I believe. Yeah, but
I am really waiting on Brad to get a win. It's really surprising he hasn't won one yet this season.
Well, he did win at Michigan. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
I think that this year he breaks that because he started off his career like dreadfully awful at Michigan. Even in his part-time stuff, he was worse than he normally was in the 25 car that year. Then his first year at Penske, he was awful. That whole team was bad. He pretty much proved the next year that it wasn't him, it was the team. But he wasn't very good at Michigan even in 2011. So since 2012, so you take those let's see, 11, 10, and 1 in 2009. So you got 5 races there. Okay, that would leave 12 races left. He has 0 wins, 5 top 5s, 8 top 10s in that span, led 180 laps, has a pole. I mean, he's never had a DNF there. I think that Brad Keselowski finally gets it done. And I think that you're going to see Brad Keselowski once said that winning at Michigan would be more important to him than winning the Daytona 500. So I think when he wins, you will see the most emotion out of Brad Keselowski ever with him being sober.
Well, technically, he did win at Michigan. Yeah, that's fair. Technically, he did win at Michigan in 2009 with JR Motorsports in the Xfinity.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as a Cup Series win, no. But yeah, I mean, it's his home track basically. So I mean, I think that's with every driver. Like they're like when Kyle Busch won at Vegas in 2009, I probably would say that probably meant more to him than, let's say, maybe the Coke 600, possibly. Like the one he just won. I guess maybe that's debatable, but I mean, he looked pretty ecstatic to win that. So I mean, I guess it's right up there. So.
You know what I think is still really hilarious about 2012 and Brad winning the championship and all? It's like, hey, Dodge, thanks for helping us finally figure this stuff out. We won a championship. Now pack your crap and get out and never come back.
That happened with, Pontiac didn't leave until 2003, but Stewart won in 2002. And then literally the next season, Pontiac was gone. So,
well, except for Ricky Craven at Darlington.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, one win.
Think when a fan now, like say somebody who's like, 12, 13, 14 years old, when they think of Pontiac and NASCAR, they're not thinking of Tony Stewart. They're not thinking of all the different drivers. They think of the most iconic, finish, closest finish, I should say, in NASCAR history. That's a pretty good legacy to leave behind.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, they're always going to be. Pontiac will always be immortalized in NASCAR history as being part of the greatest finish in NASCAR history, in terms of closeness.
Yeah, so they'll never be forgotten because I know some brands are probably forgotten. Like some of the older ones, like Buick, Oldsmobile, like those ones are sort of forgotten by the younger generation and stuff. But if you've watched NASCAR for years, if you know its history, then obviously you won't forget it. But yeah, Pontiac definitely is always going to be remembered just because of that finish. So JC1424, who's your win or who's your pick?
Bandwagon Kyle Larson, but considering the fact we're all just assuming things, we're probably going to get shown up, and it might just be a Ford driver, either Keselowski or Kevin Harvick. I think I might go with Kevin Harvick.
Yeah,
I'll say this: if I have to pick a driver from each brand who I think has the best chance, Chevy, it's going to be Larson. Ford, I'm actually going to go with Eric on this one and say Blaney has the best chance at the Fords for some reason. And then Toyotas, I would just say Truex.
Well, you know who finished 5th last year? He's going to be a huge threat this week. Trevor Bayne.
He did.
See, let's get into each of us give a dark horse pick because you guys want to know my dark horse pick for this weekend's race. It might have something to do with Trevor Bayne finishing so well there.
I was just about to say, let's get to the dark horse picks. Since it's on my channel, I'll go first. I'd probably say someone just mentioned this driver in the comments. Let me see if I can find that. So this guy, let's see. He has 2 wins and 5 top 5 finishes in the 22 ride. Joey Logano is a dark horse. You also got to remember him. He's pretty good at Michigan with Penske.
Would he be really a dark horse though?
Yeah, Logano's.
You know what?
I think my dark horse also has 2 wins at Michigan, but he has 6 top 5s and 9 top 10s, and surprisingly, he has less poles than wins. My dark horse is Ryan Newman.
Oh yes,
that's a good dark horse.
No,
my dark horse for this one is going to be somebody who, okay, when Larson won his first race, it was 2016. He was 3 years into his career. Now this driver is in the same situation, and no matter who was going to win this one, it was going to either start their career off in a big way and get them going in the right direction, or whoever was in second was just going to continue to be haunted by this. And the guy who did end up coming up short is still haunted to this very day. Chase Elliott, I'm sure he wants to get the bad memory of where it first all started really off of his shoulder. He's going to be my dark horse for this one.
I saw a tweet from NASCAR this afternoon, and it was a tweet that listed the top 3 drivers, active drivers, and it showed their average running position at Michigan in their careers. And the top 3 were Chase Elliott, Eric Jones, and Matt Kenseth. My dark horse is Matt Kenseth for this weekend.
Imagine my shock.
No, I'm serious. He sucked the first half of Pocono, but by the end of that race, he had a top 15 car, got some good restarts, and finished 13th. He's won twice, I think, at Michigan, including more recently in 2015. Roush Fenway Racing has been decent at Michigan. It's in Ford's backyard, so I don't know. They bring all the best stuff for this race. I don't think Kenseth's going to win, but if he got a top 10 this weekend, I would not be shocked. And I think a top 10 would feel like a win for that team, honestly.
Well, that last week reminded me of 2003 Matt Kenseth, seeing how like in that year he wouldn't be that great to start with, but then it's like as the day went on, you wouldn't notice him. Like nobody really noticed him except for a few people on Twitter. Mm-mm. But it's like as the day goes on, suddenly it's like, wait, is that Matt Kenseth? Yeah, Matt Kenseth's actually coming up through the pack. And by the end of it, he finished, 12th, 13th?
I'll say this. It doesn't really matter what the car setup was like for this one. They still got that car on the pole for the All-Star race. Now, that says something because there is some potential with that team.
It shows they have speed and at least a somewhat decent pit crew. I will say this. I've noticed his pit crew decent. That's why if you want my real dark horse, I was about to go with Eric Jones, but then I realized how terrible his pit crew has been this year. I know a couple weeks ago at Charlotte, they had a couple issues that maybe weren't all their fault, but they suck on pit road. And it feels like Jones hasn't been able to put together a complete race since Texas when he finished 4th. So I couldn't go with Jones. So I'm just going out on a limb. I'm going with Kenseth because I feel like they got some momentum. I think a top 10 would be surprising, but wouldn't be like blowing me away.
That makes me think something too. I remember saying this there in the race. Jeff Gordon pointed this out on commentary. A driver who has a really surprisingly quick average pit time is Alex Bowman, and for whatever reason, they're averaging pretty quick. They're averaging really quick in the pits. They just need to get their cars up to speed.
So really quick, I kind of had a brain fart with the dark horse. So like, even I thought this. Like after I picked Logano, I was like, wait a minute, he's not really a dark horse. And then I see the comments are like, why'd you pick Logano? Okay,
I saw a good comment from. I got 2 things there real quick. One good comment is Chase couldn't be president; he would have to be vice president because it's second behind the president. And then I saw we're at 100 viewers, but only have 75 likes.
Yes,
click the like button. That is a horrible statistic.
My stream is lagging. It still shows us at 50 likes on my screen. I got to refresh this page. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
I'm just now realizing that I never actually went to the video and clicked like.
Oh, we're basically ignoring the chat room, so it's okay. You're not missing anything.
So really quick, guys. Thanks, guys, so much. We reached over 100. We were at like 101 or 102 a couple weeks ago and stuff. So yeah, pretty good stream we're doing tonight. So make sure to lick the like button.
We're at 84 likes now, so we're getting better with that ratio.
What I love is that Darian just said thank you to the chat right after Eric says we're basically ignoring the chat.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen some funny comments. I've been keeping it to myself.
So really quick, let me change my dark horse really quick. So this guy last week, he really surprised me where he started last week with the equipment he was running. He started like 33rd or 34th.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Ends up. So I was gonna pick him on my fantasy team, and I was like, you know what? No, I don't know. I don't really want to take a risk. I'll just take the for sure drivers that I know are going to run good there. I'm going to see how he recovers from that bad, horrible start to see if he'll be my pick for this week. And he's definitely going to be on my fantasy team this week. I've only used him twice, so I have 7 more uses left in it. So, or 8 more uses now. So Eric Almirola is a good dark horse. The guy basically he was running probably like in the teens for most of the race, but then towards the end of the race, when the cars were starting to fall off, they were able to adjust the car to make sure he was in the top 10. I don't know where he finished. I think he finished in the top 10.
I think he finished, I'm thinking 7th, but that seems too high. I don't remember where he finished.
Well, either way, I mean, coming up from far deep in the field at Pocono,
No, he ran well.
passing doesn't really happen is really impressive. So I got to pick Eric Almirola as my dark horse.
Yeah, I almost picked him as my dark horse. Did we get your dark horse, JC?
No, not yet. At the same time, I've been kind of thinking about it. I think I might say Chase Elliott, but at the same time, I'll probably go with Eric Almirola now that I'm just thinking about it because, yeah, he has been in that position to win in many occurrences this season, especially at Richmond. That was shocking me whenever I was watching that race.
And he did run really well at what was it, Kansas as well.
Well, and was it Thick Daddy? That's a nice name. Brought up a good point that Jamie McMurray also has been very consistent, and he also got a 5th place finish last year at Michigan. So
and he was running very good in the Coke 600 too.
So,
Yeah.
Jarrett, Jamie McMurray, that's your pick?
wait, me?
Yeah. Is it? Did you make your underdog pick? Or no?
Yeah,
you
already made mine.
your dark horse. Oh, okay.
It's the Rocket Man. Mike Joy is gonna flip out for peace, like and happiness here, because if anyone hasn't noticed yet, Mike Joy for some reason is strangely fascinated with Ryan Newman's bland personality.
Speaking of Ryan Newman, you know what is so
Newman.
annoying? Speaking of him, what is so annoying about him is that I had to get some pictures of him for a video that I put out today, and I have to always remind myself, oh wait, I can't just search Ryan Newman because it brings up some woman named Ryan Newman. I always have to put in NASCAR right after it.
Just put No Neck Newman.
No neck Newman.
So now that we've gotten into dark horses,
He's the discount version of Cale Yarborough.
so now that we've gotten into dark horses, now let's get into underdogs. So I think my underdog pick is a pretty good pick for this one. In the last race in Michigan, he finished 6th, and I don't know, I really didn't see him run up inside the top 15 mostly. I think it was mostly due to the pit strategy and all that stuff. But he ended up getting 6th in that race. Chris Buescher, definitely. That's my underdog pick.
My underdog pick is probably going to make the chat pretty happy because he's making his Cup Series debut. I'm pretty sure this is his debut. He's making his Cup Series debut, I think, with Starcom Racing, which Starcom Racing is kind of a cursed team as it is, but they're slowly getting more and more sponsors coming in. I don't know exactly how much they're getting paid, but they're getting more and more sponsors, and they got Garrett Smithley is making his debut with them, and he's my underdog for the simple fact that I just want to see how he does in this case because he seems like he has. If he gets into the right equipment, I think one day he could do something, especially maybe more in the lower series right now. Right now, he's not really running in the best equipment, but he's also making the most out of what he's getting. Yeah,
I'd have to agree with that one. Yeah, it's good to see him get an opportunity finally in the Cup Series.
If I have to go with an even further underdog, if I'm going to really dig down into the ditches to scoop someone out that I think has at least even the sliver of a chance of getting a top 10.
Down in the slums.
I'm going to go with AJ Allmendinger because honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know how he's done at Michigan in his career, but I do know he was surprisingly fast in the All-Star race, and I know that was a completely different package, but it showed he maybe had some horsepower that we don't always see from that team. Michigan's the fastest track on the circuit. Maybe that translates into something. Maybe it doesn't, but I'm going to go with Allmendinger as my underdog, I guess.
I'm going to go really far down for my underdog. Well, maybe not as far as Allmendinger. It might be about the same level. He's won at Michigan before. He's actually swept there before. I'm gonna go with Pretty Boy, Casey Kane. I think
95?
this team has been getting consistently in the top 20 and top 15, and for Levine Family Racing, that's pretty impressive.
They They're actually in top 10 a little bit there at Charlotte,
Yep.
too.
Casey
Yeah.
Kane is driving the hell out of that car.
I give him
impressed
credit.
by that guy this
Listen,
season.
he's done more to prove me wrong in saying how, like, because I personally thought that he was okay talent wise in a stock car, and I think he's better on dirt, which I still think he's better on dirt. But no, Casey Kane has proven more to me this year than he did in 2006 or any time in Hendrick that he has some pretty good talent when his feet are put to the fire. Like now that his career is basically on the brink, he's where Kurt Busch was like in 2012, except not insane. And I think that he's really proven himself to a lot of teams right now. So
You know what?
I got to say.
They started off at Daytona, and I was so scared what happened at Daytona was going to be just what to find this season for them, because they started off, they couldn't even stay in the draft at Daytona. They were just that below the curve there at first. But I've slowly seen steady progression from it, and maybe that is because more funding starts to come in with someone like Casey Kane, and they can afford to invest more into their R&D program. Maybe that's what it comes down to. But, I'm seeing progression from him, and that's a good thing.
Well, and NASCAR and MDK brings up a good point. Like, who knows? Maybe Levine Family Racing could be the next Furniture Row. Like, I mean, okay, so like say 7 years ago, right after Regan Smith won that race, you'd be like, oh, that's a feel-good story. That's really good. Would you imagine that this is the team that's going to go and win 8 races and win a championship?
You just
be
gave
the
me
most dominant team.
Having Kurt come over there for 1 year is what really turned around. That helped a lot in a big way. Even though nothing really come of it, no wins come out of it. But then Truex had something almost mirror to what happened with Kurt Busch. The only difference is Truex found a way to make it where he's probably going to end his career.
Here's the difference, though, between those two. They're very similar. Furniture Row Racing, though, however, when they started to become, good and competitive and stuff, really, like when they first started out and stuff, they had Regan Smith and stuff, who's, I would say overall, he's a decent driver. He's not the best in the field, obviously. But he's a very consistent driver. He's very decent. I think right now, like, or hold on, let me get to my point. So then Furniture Row, right after Kurt Busch is available, they go out and hire him and stuff. I really don't see Levine Racing having to, like, once they get really competitive, I don't see them just getting rid of Casey Kane. I could see them actually winning races on a consistent basis with Casey Kane, the way he's run. So I wouldn't say, like, I'd say that's a guy you really just build around him, keep him for the long-term future and build around him. I mean, it's basically – It's reminded me sort of, not exactly, but like kind of reminding me of what Casey Mears did for Germain Racing before Ty Dillon screwed it up. Yeah. Now, obviously, Casey Kane is not starting parking for them, but they do have this in common. Both of those guys have really improved their teams, especially Casey Kane. And Casey Kane's been getting a lot of crap on Twitter, like he's washed up and stuff and all that. Well, I'm like, have you seen what he's done this season? He's just been nothing short of amazing.
I could see Casey Kane being there a minimum of 3 years, bare minimum 3 years with them, and just experimenting with them.
You never know, Kate. Like what happened with Kurt Busch, he spent that year with Furniture Row. He was kind of back on the incline, and then a deal opened up for him to go to Stewart-Haas Racing, and so he took that deal. That could happen to Casey Kane. He spent a year or two at Levine Family Racing. They get to be pretty competitive, but so much that he's running top 10, maybe wins a race or two, and you never know. A spot opens up. Maybe he will be, what are the odds of him taking over for Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car? I mean, that would be quite the weird, awkward.
To be fair, Casey Kane has sort of ran at the same level and at times outran Hendrick.
Yeah.
Like, let's just think about that. He's run basically better in Levine Family Racing than he did in the number 5 car the last probably 2.5 years he was at Hendrick.
That's crazy.
I'll say that.
That's what I just don't get. I just don't get that, how he's in equipment that you'd figure is not nearly as good as what Hendrick can provide, but he goes there and he's doing just a little bit better. So.
Well, you also have to remember this. It's not really all just about equipment. It's also about team works together. I think
look at what Incarnation really quick at the chat. Look at what Incarnation's the chat over. Thanks, guys.
Oh my gosh.
We introduced the 12-year-old to porn.
Oh gosh.
Oh
Sorry,
my
man.
God.
I was before we dropped the Casey Kane subject. I was gonna just throw one thing out there. I'm all for. I think he's done a great job this year in that car, but I want to point out he is 28th in points. There are only 30 cars that have attempted every race this year. He is 28th in points behind Michael McDowell, David Reagan, Chris Buescher. Wow, Brian Newman's back in 22nd. Boy, got to pick it up. I didn't know he was that low, but yeah. So he's done well. He's only ahead of Ty Dillon and Matt DiBenedetto in terms of drivers who've been in every race this year.
Well, that's not hard. To be ahead of
Feel bad
time.
for DiBenedetto.
Oh, the Ty Dillon,
Yeah,
Ty Dillon
hey.
doesn't shock me at all. But I'm just
No
Hey,
talent.
hey,
But-
Eric, I want to bring something up here for you. I don't know if it's likely that Kane will go back to Hendrick, but then again, I don't know if people would have said the same about McMurray going back to Ganassi either. But here's what I'm thinking. What if Kenseth gets a 6 for about 3 or 4 more years until he does a proper retirement, and then what if Casey Kane can come into the 6?
You never know. I was trying to think. I was staying within the same manufacturer. I was thinking Chevys would stick together or whatever. I feel like Ford's kind of a closed group. I mean, from what I heard, Jack Roush didn't even want to call Matt Kenseth. He had to get Mark Martin to talk to him. So I feel like there's kind of I don't know. Maybe. I was just throwing out Hendrick. I don't know if that. I'm just throwing that out for conspiracy theorists to run with. I don't know. I like the idea of Casey Kane doing something for the small team, but then kind of just that vaulting his career back in the spotlight. Because how old's Casey Kane? He's mid-30s. He could realistically race another 8 to 10 years probably.
Let's
So, I'm
see.
just saying,
Yeah, he's 38.
he's 38. That's older than I thought. So he's still,
Yeah.
but he's still got 5 to 8 years probably. So he spends, he could get a ride with another. He might just choose to go to a bigger team. So because I don't know, just saying.
Oh, here's the thing. He is just older than Paul Menard. Get hard from Menard. Menard's 37.
Menard hasn't looked like he hasn't aged a bit. He's always just
Well,
Menard was old whenever he was young.
Does anyone remember the long sideburns that went like down to here and then he had the soul patch?
I think that is why he doesn't look like he's aged, because he came in looking old like that already.
so it's like a
He's grown that beard. He's grown that beard to hide the face wrinkles.
It was really funny. I saw Menard with the beard once last year, and I thought it was Kenseth when he had a beard. They both had yellow fire suits and had a beard, and were both like not too happy after the race. So I thought they were the same guy. I'm sorry. When Kenseth when Kenseth doesn't smile, he looks like Menard
So
from
so,
far away.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know if that has something to do with it.
So Kenseth didn't make it off of Daddy's money.
I'll say this. I'm glad that Menard seems like he's finally starting to come to the prime of his career. It's about time. He's been in here for a long time, but he's really starting to get to where I think that a win could happen this year for him.
yeah, I would like to see
To
that.
be honest, whenever I went to Talladega Super Speedway about a month ago, Paul Menard, he did win the second stage of that race in that 21 car.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right on the edge of the
Talladega, so I
playoff.
don't know if it means anything.
He's right there on the playoff bubble too. I don't know where he is exactly. I was just looking at the points. I forget. He's like 17th or 18th, I think, right now.
You want me to read off the points or something when I find them?
Sure,
Might be,
that'd be a good segue into something new.
He might be he might almost be similar to Truex in a way, because Truex was in the sport for a long time before I feel like he really came into his prime of his career. It could be some similar situation to Paul, really.
Oh boy. Oh crap. This isn't the actual grid. So I'll find a different one because Yahoo Sports Points thing is just dumb. It's dumb. Really dumb for real. Yeah, here we go. ESPN surprisingly is better at something with NASCAR. All right, so let's go through this grid. So Kevin Harvick, 5 wins, Kyle Busch, 4, Truex, 2. Those are the only multi-time winners. 4th, 5th, and 6th belong to Joey Logano, Clint Boyer, and Austin Dillon.
I
They have
love
a
the
win.
great parody this season. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
I
Seeing
saw
how-
a stat today, that said starting at the beginning of last year's chase, the last 24 races, 19 wins have gone to Harvick, Truex, or Kyle Busch.
Now
What
take
is-
out the plate tracks.
What is so funny is that the 3 who I'm calling the clique of NASCAR right now, the Elite 3, they are the top 3 from the championship last year.
Well, take out the plate tracks on how many because you take out Austin Dillon's win, take out Joey Logano's win, and you take out Brad Keselowski's win.
It's crazy.
I mean, these guys are. But if one of these 3 doesn't win the championship this year, it is a complete and utter joke.
I hope it happens because then
This
I do
spring-
too.
This brings me to the video I put out today. Y'all are gonna have to go watch it. It proves exactly what is flawed about the system. If we get to the round of 8 and somehow and it's not impossible. You know, Elliott almost won Martinsville last year. If he goes out and he wins it, that race, if Larson wins Texas, if some random driver wins Phoenix, I don't know, Joey Logano, if those 3 are in the round of 8 somehow, only one of those elite 3 will be eligible to compete for the championship then.
And
Great video, by the way. Great video, and you made a lot of good points.
Yeah, I really like that video. I had one thing because I disagree with it. I like having a playoff format. I don't necessarily think the round by round system we have now is perfect. I think the 10 race playoff with 10 to 12 drivers being in was very good. But I was interested because I was looking at that and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I think it's early to sit here and say that, oh, if Truex or Harvick or Busch doesn't win, it's a wreck. Because I was looking at the points when you don't look at the wins and stuff. When you don't factor in wins, Kyle Busch has a 87-point lead right now. That's more than, with all the stages, that's more than a race and a half worth of points, even if you win all the stages.
Almost 2 races.
So Kyle Busch is dominating because Kevin Harvick, yes, he has 5 wins to lead the series, but he's wrecked himself several times.
Third in the points.
It seems like almost every race that he didn't win, he probably wrecked.
Yeah, and then I look and guess who's third in points? So you have first in points is Kyle Busch, second is Harvick, 87 points back, 90 points back. So right there, almost tied with Harvick, is Mr. One Win Joey Logano. So I just look at like he's been consistent. He hasn't won very much. He's only won that one race at Talladega. That's the only thing is where I'm kind of like, you know. The only example I can really think of in recent years with this current playoff format was 2014. The fact that Ryan Newman came within a second of winning the championship. That would have been a disaster.
Yeah,
but other than that, I've looked at it. Like 2015, everyone argues about Kyle Busch, his injury and everything, but he was the best driver after his injury in the series, so I didn't have a problem with him winning the title. 2016, you could have, honestly, it was a toss-up. I know Edwards, Logano were battling. Johnson ended up winning it. I thought it was a toss-up. Any of them deserved it. I think if I were to make a change, I would change it maybe so that only the top 2 make it to Homestead. So like last year, I guess it would have only been Truex and Kyle Busch, who's really who it was battling it down at the stretch. Anyways, I look at it and I'm not necessarily, if we were to get rid of a playoff system entirely, right now we would have Kyle Busch miles ahead of people. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick's sitting here. He's won 6 races if you include the All-Star race. So I feel like people would still be upset about it because they'd be like, look at Harvick. He's clearly been the best car. He's just had some rough breaks of it. Kyle Busch is 90 points ahead of people and we're not even halfway through the season. That's where I just kind of look like I just know, and I don't know. No, I know. I think I'm 100% certain that if we didn't have a playoff format in place today, people would be complaining about how big of a blowout, how boring it is that Kyle Busch has blown everybody out. Even though we still have half a season to go, people would complain any way you slice it. And I talked about this in Out of the Groove last week briefly, and I should have made a longer episode about it, but I'm afraid I'd make people mad. NASCAR fans do not agree on anything. And they don't, it's not even like, oh, most people believe this, but there's a few that don't. No, it's basically 50-50 on every major issue. I mean, I uploaded that video yesterday about the hybrids, and I got probably 60% going, oh, heck no. Another 40% were like, oh, hey, wait, maybe this has a chance. So it's just everyone's super split on even the most obscure issues. I just feel like if the playoff format went away completely, there'd be a lot of people who are probably used to it by now that would just be like, this season's boring. Kyle Busch is going to win, and nobody likes Kyle Busch apparently, so everyone would be mad at NASCAR for letting Kyle Busch pull away this huge lead. So I'm just kind of like, I've been on the fence this whole time whenever we've talked about the playoff system because we've all talked about it. I know some of you guys don't like it. Some of you guys like, if they went back to pre-2004 Chase with the normal like 36 race points or whatever it is, I'd be fine with it. A lot of fans I think wouldn't be, but I think a lot would, and I'd be fine with it. If I had my choice, I'd probably stick with a playoff format, but I'd go back to what we had in the mid-2000s or even 2012 or 2013 was fine. But at the end of the day, I don't hate the rounds either. And I know people hate comparing NASCAR to other sports. They hate to say, oh, NASCAR is not like football. But like football, the number 1 seed has the advantage. If you're number 1 seed in the regular season, baseball, basketball, you have home field, home court advantage in every round of the playoffs, and that is an advantage. NASCAR, the reason NASCAR hasn't had that big of an issue with this current knockout round format is because of, especially with stage racing last year. And this is why I don't understand why people hate stage racing. Is it basically guaranteed Martin Truex Jr. was going to make it to Homestead because he deserved it?
Yeah.
And it basically guaranteed it. And I feel like it when you look at the way the NASCAR point system is laid out right now, I get there is the chance. Everyone likes to throw out there you could win 35 races and blow an engine or finish second and lose the championship. And I get that, but that's obviously an extreme circumstance. I get that there are there's the possibility for a major upset that's going to infuriate fans. I understand that, but I just think this format is close to other sports enough that I think it can engage the average sports fan and be understandable by the average sports fan and accepted by the average sports fan, but while also remaining being different enough to kind of make it feel more like, well, this is racing. Racing does it differently. So that's why I don't mind the current playoff format, but I can understand, like I said, if we switch back to 2003, 2002, I'd be okay with it. I just think some fans wouldn't be. I think no matter how you slice it, you're going to have 40 to 50% of the fan base upset about it. And that's what just is crazy to me about NASCAR, that there's nothing we can agree on.
Well, I will say one thing that I have is.
Oh, wait.
I'll let Danny say something first because that was his video.
All right, Danny goes first, and then
Okay, so I had a comment on there asking me what did I think about stage racing, and I mean, here's the thing: I don't. This playoff system we have is flawed. If we want to have a playoff system, we don't need to have this. But stage racing, though, I like it because it does reward you for what you're doing throughout the entire race. I remember I've watched a lot of races in the past where there'd be a guy, doing what he needed to do. He was consistently leading the majority of the race, and but then something just happens that he can't control it at the end of it, and then it's like it didn't even matter at that point how good he was all day. So I do like that stage racing does reward you for that. If I could restructure it, I would probably, for the time being, just because I think it would bring back a lot of fans if they announced that they were doing it this way, I would probably go to a single season, no playoffs format. But as far as the way points are awarded, I liked it how they used to have it where you get your winner gets 40 points, last place gets 1 point. You get an extra point if you lead the most laps, if you lead a lap. I like that. You get the extra point for those. And then still actually reward stage points. I think do 10 if you win a stage, 1 if you're in the top 10. Still do that, and just instead of doing playoff points, and if you win the race or whatever, just do it off of that system right there for a year. No playoffs. Just do 40 if you win, 1 if you're last, and then 1 point if you lead a lap in that race. 1 point if you lead the most laps, and then award your 10 stage points and do it like that. I think that would be a good way to try it for a year.
Okay, so I have points to make. Oh, do you want to go first?
Yeah, just really quick. My big argument against this system, one of them, obviously there's the ones everyone says, the 35 wins and then a second and you lose the championship, all that, the hypotheticals. But one thing I also kind of want to bring up is why do we strive for Game 7 moments? And this is just a question I want you guys to think, or if you want to answer. But we strive for Game 7 moments, not because one, because they're the most exciting. I mean, I think we can pretty much say say a Cubs Indians in 2016, pretty exciting going down to the wire in 7 games, but how many times do we have Game 7 moments?
Rarely. They're rare. Yeah. That's what makes them so great.
Yes, that's what makes it so great. Why is 1992's championship battle arguably remembered more than already 2011's battle, which was technically closer?
Because I
mean, you had Earnhardt dominating the 2 years before. Granted, one was close, but another was a blowout. And you had years where Gordon was destroying the field, and even without the chase, Jimmy Johnson, a few of those years would have destroyed the field. And I think that the big reason why and this is why I like the before the chase as well as even the chase through 2013, is that yes, there were close finishes, but at the same time, it didn't feel manufactured. When you have to manufacture a close finish, the impression that gives to, especially once people start to learn about the history of your championship battle, the impression that gives to fans who might be new to it is, well, if they're not exciting enough that they can just make it on their own, they have to copy other sports leagues. I just went through puberty there. Or that they have to and they have to basically mimic what other people use to be popular and what other people use to make great moments. What does that really say for the sport? It shows that it's inorganic. It shows that it gives off the impression. Now, I don't think this. I know I've said stuff like this before, but I don't think that it's scripted. But it gives off the impression that, wow, the top four are already up there every year since 14. Maybe it's because they're the four best cars that week. And I think another thing is that, there isn't that opportunity for it to be a massive blowout, because with four cars in there, especially if they're the ones that threw the chase and the year, but really the chase in general, have been the cars that have been the fastest, there's bound to be at least two of them up there when it goes down to the stretch. Like, the fact that people are surprised that the champion has won in the last, 4 years we've had this system, I think it's kind of mind-boggling, because at least two of those cars are going to be the ones who've been fastest throughout the year or fastest at that point of the year. Yeah. So I guess what I'm kind of getting at is that this system, it builds hype. It does. I can't deny that. And for the other stuff, like with point system, whether it be stages, we can argue about that forever. I think that's less important than the main championship. But this system generates hype, but the hype doesn't feel real, and it doesn't feel earned for the most part for a lot of fans. I know a lot of fans like it, and I know that the more and more changes we have, the more and more divisions in the fan base are. That's why I wish NASCAR would have just, thought about it a little longer. Like, because in 2004, it was really the championship battle was really good. And 2005 was okay. 2006 was good. They changed it, and then they changed it again 3 years later. Then they changed it again 4 years later. And now we're already talking about, we expect a change. It doesn't, you don't really, the championship doesn't hold as much, I would say, to a casual fan. It might to some of the longtime fans, but to casual fans, there's going to be like, well, it's different again. When I ask people, when I try to explain the championship format to people, the people that NASCAR is trying to go after with it, the I wouldn't say fair weather fans, but sort of just to get the passerbyers, they're like, that makes no sense. They get confused. They want me to restart. Then they're like, why don't they just they always ask about the old chase system, or they ask like, why don't they just do the whole season? So I guess that's my thing, is that NASCAR, I think, overthought themselves into a box with it. And I think that it's more unearned and inorganic hype that really long-term could be detrimental. I mean, there was a time when we based the championship points off of who made the most money in a race, and who made the most money was who was entered into the most starts, and it had the best sponsorship, I mean, I don't know. There's just, it's going to take a while, no matter what NASCAR does, to recover from this. And I think that when this next change inevitably comes, NASCAR needs to stick with it, whether it works or not.
Also, I want to bring up an interesting fact here. So long as Kyle Busch, Truex, and Harvick make it into the Final Four again this year, this will be the third time in 5 years under this playoff format that those three would be in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it's
now
the illusion of parity that they keep trying to bring out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not good. So now I'll say my piece.
Yeah.
So Wes made a good comment here. He said NASCAR's ratings started to go down during its peak in 2005, when in the second year of the chase. And he said that should say a lot. And it does say a lot, okay? Now, I'm going to argue for both sides here, I guess, if I can do that. If you want to have a chase or like whatever so-called playoff system, fine. Let's go back with what worked. The top 10 drivers, the 2004 version, 2004 to 2006, top 10 drivers, reset the points, separate them by 5 or however you want to, and just go race to the finish, to the end of the season with 10 races to go. All right, 16 is too much, okay? No way a guy from 16th or 15th is going to win the championship. It's just it's not going to happen. Who's 15th right now?
Somebody. I don't know.
Eric Jones.
Is Eric Jones going to win the title?
No.
No.
Great.
We already know that. Who's 14th?
Chase Elliott.
Is he going to win the title? Come
Hell
on.
no.
We already know.
He has to. It's the rules.
Well, I would like
I'm
it because
dreaming.
someone winning was 0. So I'd like that.
No, I'll say this. Even as an Elliott fan, if he can work the system and win a championship, that will prove everything that's wrong with it right now.
Exactly. But here's the thing. We all know that it's not going to happen. The more realistic drivers who are going to win the title are inside the top 10. We saw it with Stewart, and we also seen it in the past before with other drivers as well.
Here,
So,
I'll read off the top 10 for you just to sort of
All right.
bring up your point. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr. It's hard because they're jumbled up so much with the win stuff. Brad Keselowski, Clint Bowyer, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney.
See? You see, those guys have a more realistic chance of the title. Everyone else really outside the top 10 doesn't. And you guys, I'm surprised nobody has talked about this. This is also the point system is also affecting the amount of talent we have in the field. And here's why. Because back in the day when they made this, the chase in the point system and stuff, a good season for most teams is considered if you make the title. Top 10, okay, we're in the chase, that's a good season. We're going to renew you for another contract, okay? If you were 11th on down and just plain mediocre, you were basically on the hot seat if you didn't make the title because it's hard. It was hard at the time to make the chase. Now that you have 16 drivers in the chase, now it's just so easy for these guys who are obviously running poorly and mediocre, running very mediocre, having very mediocre runs to keep their rides now. Like, I mean, Austin Dillon, let's just say Austin Dillon wasn't the grandson of Richard Childress, okay? He's only been in the playoffs. I mean, he's only made the playoffs really because of the wins he has. The only reason he's going to be in the playoffs this season is because he has the win at Daytona. All right. So he's not even in the top 16. If we went back to 10 drivers, then he would be on the hot seat. And that would mean we would get a more competitive driver or someone who's better inside that ride. Do you guys get what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've never really said this out loud before. I've always thought about this. I didn't know if it would really make any sense, but I think it's really hindering on the talent we have out in the field. And now I'm going to go to the old point system. The main reason I want this old point system back is that I want every race to mean something again. If you go back to how NASCAR was great and stuff, those grandstands were full every single race. You know why? It's because every race meant something. All right. Even the ones in the, what's the most irrelevant race this season?
New Hampshire.
Pocono.
Exactly. New Hampshire is probably going to be the most irrelevant race. It's the only race on the schedule for that track, and it's during the summer, and it's just relatively boring racing, okay? The stands are not full. All right? If you go back to 2004, those stands were pretty full, all right? Or 2003, those stands were pretty full. And you know why? Because that race meant something, all right? So pretty much, I'm probably maybe in the minority here. I don't care. If we were running the old system today, I wouldn't care that Kyle Busch is 90 points ahead. All right, I personally wouldn't care about that because if you are that dominant and if you're just being that consistent, then you deserve to win the title. Like when Matt Kenseth won, I really didn't care that he won a race, okay? He was just very consistent. I just think motorsports, it's totally different from other sports, and I just don't like when other fans compare it to other sports. It's not a sport, it's a motorsport, something totally different, okay? That's what set us apart from other sports, is that we had our own rules, or like our very own point system. Like nowadays, now we're just like every other sport that has playoffs and stuff like that, And I guess another thing I would say is that not only, I know NASCAR fans normally don't agree on a lot of things, okay? But I know there will probably be mixed reactions with if they went back to just a regular point system. But I will tell you this, I can guarantee you we will get a lot of fans who will come back to the sport just for that. I'd rather have that I think that overlaps complaint, like all the fans that are complaining about this. So let's get back to this old point system, and let's get these older fans back too. I guarantee you, if we go back to the old point system, then the 2019 Daytona 500 ratings will go up, especially and also with every other race. It's not going to go up like just skyrocket and stuff. It's going to take time, all right? But whatever point system they choose to stick with, I will support it, because it's NASCAR. I love NASCAR, so I'll support it no matter what. But the thing you can do is stick with it. Please do not change anything else. Stick with it for maybe the next 10 to 20 years, see how it does. And if you want to change it again, and if the fans want to change it, then by all means change it and stuff. But you need to stay consistent, all right? Just be consistent once again and just stick with that.
I think that's a good point. Consistency is key, and I think it's just right now that it's the decision what to stick with. I don't think this round by round format. I think it's. I mean, like I said, basically I could go anyway with any of these formats. I think, I don't know, the perfect. The only thing you say you guarantee that ratings and people would come back if they went back to no playoffs at all, and I don't know if I could guarantee that. I don't know. People are stubborn. People stay away from something.
Not a lot of fans will come back, but there would be quite a few.
I get what you're saying.
They would be more open to watching it again.
I try to think of I'm always trying to think big picture of what's the long-term solution to NASCAR's ratings. How is NASCAR going to remain relevant for the next 30 to 40 years? And maybe the no playoffs is the best bet. But I just feel like I feel like I underestimate the older established NASCAR fan base, and I think maybe I overestimate the younger fan base, our age and maybe even younger, around our age. I think I overestimate us, or our people our age. I believe there are more of us than there really are, and I think I'm guilty of that, because I personally think that NASCAR needs to focus on our demographic. What does this demographic want? And this is a demographic that's grown up in the playoff era. That doesn't mean they need to stick with the round by round thing. They could go back to 2005, what they had then, which I think would probably be their best option. But I just wonder, are there enough of people our age? It's hard can't get a firm grasp on what NASCAR fans really, really want, or at least who wants things the most, because I'm not convinced anyone wants the no chase system the most. I'm not convinced which one has the majority, because I see so many strong opinions thrown about it every which way, and it's just hard to tell where people really lie on the issue. It's interesting. Honestly, I'd hate to be in NASCAR's position, because they have to make a decision about this. I think there's easy decisions, like with the car itself. I think most people know. I think that is something most NASCAR fans agree on, is that we need more short tracks and that the current aero package is not great. So that's fair. The difference there is a lot of NASCAR fans don't agree with where the aero package should be changed or how it should be changed exactly. But I think at least that's something NASCAR knows it needs to work on and that they have a clear consensus on. I just think it's difficult when looking at the point system. I think, in my opinion, I feel like young fans will get bored with NASCAR if there is no playoff system that manufactures drama. Because you could argue that, why does the MLB or NBA even need a playoff system? Why can't the team with the best record win the championship at the end of the regular season? At some point in those series eras, they instituted a playoff format. It took racing a lot longer to do so. And maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't the right idea for racing. Maybe racing really never needed it in the first place, and it really did alienate enough people and didn't bring in any new people, and it really was a bad idea. You might be right. I just worry now that NASCAR is so deep into it. We're 14, 15 years now into having a playoff format.
I mean, there's fans of ours who haven't even been born before, before that case. Right.
And I just worry that if we were to completely eliminate the playoff format and go back to the 2000, 2003 era, I just worry that it would bore people, and it wouldn't vault the sport into the future as well as Game 7 moments. Because my last point is, I don't know how these races really did in ratings. I'm sure they weren't great, or maybe they were very average. But what are some of the most talked about events of the last few years? It's the drama that the playoffs, this round by round format, has instituted, whether it be all the fights with Keselowski and Gordon, or Kenseth and Logano, or last year Hamlin dumping Chase Elliott in a crucial Game 7 type race. These are incidences that have kind of defined our sport since 2010 in this current decade. And I just think that they've kind of been created because of this knockout round playoff format. Do you need the knockout round playoff format to get similar things? Probably not. I just worry about how modern, younger fans would react to a complete overhaul or elimination of the playoff format. That's my only concern.
I think that the thing that a lot of people don't bring up with the chase, and I think we can all agree with this, is the chase on more than one front has made the fan base and the sport as a whole completely divisive. Like you have fans who, like I prefer the old system along with a lot of the older fans. I think I'm more of an old school fan, so that's why I would. But then you have people who like the original chase that went from 04 to 06, and I don't think that's that bad either, because usually one of the good teams won. Then you had the 07 to 2010. Then you had the 11 to 13 kind of overhaul. Then you had this one. So there's people who want all of those different ones as their favorite one. Now, I think the biggest problem that no one talks about is that if we went to a full season title championship, say in 2012, we would have had like a 5 or 6 man championship battle. But what do most people, aside from drunk Brad Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson choking really at the last minute, what do most people remember from 2012? The racing was boring as hell. I mean, the racing was bad that year, especially coming off the amazing year that 2011 was. The thing that I think the reason that the racing itself, the product on track, one of the biggest reasons why that has gone so far down is because we put too much emphasis on the championship. I mean, we're now talking about while races for all drivers don't matter as much when they win a race, we're already, 2014, the first year of this, Dale Jr. wins the not the championship. That would have been nice. The Daytona 500. And what's the first thing out of his mouth? It's not, we just won the Daytona 500. It's not, oh my God, we just won at Daytona. No, it's, we're in the chase. Like we've taken so much of the meaning of just the good racing aspect of the sport. I mean, 2014 at Charlotte, that race was boring as hell. The only reason people remember it is because of the fighting and because, this is added drama to the championship. Like, I think that NASCAR has tried to do what a lot of sports leagues can do, and a lot of sports leagues don't have to worry about what NASCAR does because NASCAR has many more layers to its product. Because, like, for instance, like, NFL, they can focus on the Super Bowl throughout the playoffs and even with the teams during the season, but they know that a game between the Rams and the Eagles, or a game between, the Vikings and the Packers, playoff teams throughout the year, they're going to have a good product on the field. NASCAR has a different revolving door with its with different tracks, different times a year, and they have to focus on both the title aspect being good, but also at the same time, the on-field product. Over the last 10 years, how many Super Bowls have been bad? Like probably just the Denver, Seattle one. That was a blowout. That was the only blowout, and because they can count on there being that good on the field product compared to NASCAR, where they have to sort of make that product. They both, with the cars, with the drivers, with the tracks, all that plays a part. And then now with the championship, they have to have the right ingredients together to make this perfect, like, cobbler or soup or whatever you want to call it of a good product for the sport. Like, I think that the thing that NASCAR got lucky with in the early mid 2000s is that they had awesome cars. They had drivers who could wheel the hell out of them no matter what the system was. They had and the tracks, I mean, most of the tracks back then with the cars, they all just, everything meshed together. But once you take one of those aspects out, say the cars, that started to sort of get drawn back a little as the 2000s went on. And then the drivers started playing it differently. And then the tracks between repaves and between them getting older got worse and stuff. So I think that's the big thing, is that we focus too much on the championship and not enough on how good the racing is, because good racing will bring people in no matter what. I mean, do you think anyone at a local short track gives a damn who's leading in the championship points, if there is a championship points? Like, and those places are packed, especially, and a lot of them are places that don't have many people to begin with. It just has become part of the culture because it's such a good thing to get away from. I mean, nobody, especially with the current package they have right now, I don't think many people are going to be like, this has been, baseball's boring me and my job sucks and I just got done with school. But I'm telling you, I need something that's going to be exhilarating and I'm going to be on the edge of my seat I'm going to go to Pocono. Nobody says that, But at the same time, though, people are like, will say the same things and be like, I want to go to a Cowboys game, or I want to go to a Giants game. I want to go and watch the NBA finals tonight. That's the kind of thing that NASCAR used to be, that when it drew people in, because one, it was so different. I mean, it was different than any other major sport in America, and it still is. Don't get me wrong. Like, to say that NASCAR is the same as these leagues I'd be lying to you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they don't have that it factor anymore of that every week you can guarantee it's going to be fun to watch.
And see, I would agree with you there. I think if we're going to talk about what NASCAR needs to focus on primarily is the racing aspect, the actual on-track product. And I think that even comes down to who's driving the cars. Like I said, I think Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart being gone has hurt their ratings a little bit, but I think new names will eventually arise. I think that I agreed with what Darian said earlier. I don't know if Darian's still here, but I see his logo. But anyway, what he said about making every race matter, even the races in the middle of the summer. And I feel like when you don't worry about, especially with this current playoff format, with the winning you're in, you feel like, this weekend's race really doesn't matter. Unless you're a fan of like a couple of the guys right there on the chase, the playoff bubble, this race doesn't matter. If you're a Kevin Harvick fan, this race doesn't matter. You're a Kyle Busch fan, this race doesn't matter. For a lot of people, this race just doesn't matter. Making each race feel like the important, the all-day, just entertaining event that it used to be, I think is most important. I just think that'd be a great place to start. And I think this current playoff format definitely doesn't allow that. I think maybe the mid 2000s one did a little. Obviously the the classic one did the most, I think. But I don't know how they do that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the right steps are for NASCAR. I really don't, because I don't know if that would be enough.
And I started sort of noticing this too. Like when I was younger, like when I started watching, I was a huge Dale Jr. fan. Don't get me wrong, always have been.
Mm-hmm.
But especially the first year, because he sucked that year. He was awful. But I kept coming back each week because it was like, and maybe this is because, again, and we've talked about it before, through the lens of a 7-year-old compared to the lens of a almost 21-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, holy crap, like I watched the entire 2005 Coke 600. I was entertained the whole time. Granted, it was a freaking demolition derby. And by racing standards, it wasn't as good. But I mean, there was a lot of passing still. And there was always a twist and turn, and that's how it was. And I sort of realized about mid 2014 through 2015, and this is why, again, especially last year, I started getting into YouTube more and to stay with the sport. I was watching not because I wanted to see how each week would be. I was watching because I'm a Dale Jr. fan. I realized that at that point in time, I sort of stopped being a NASCAR fan and only was strictly a Dale Jr. fan at that time. And that kind of scared me, because it was like, what am I going to do once he leaves? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And this, don't get me wrong, I found this year, especially with him gone, how much more I appreciate and love the sport. But it's like, I don't think fans should have that problem. I mean, when you're a fan of, like Eric, you're a fan of the Rockets. So would you still be interested in how the finals end up?
To be honest, I'm not watching the finals because I'm mad about Game 7. But usually I would.
Yeah. So, and that's what I mean. That you're a basketball fan as well as a Rockets fan.
Mm-hmm. A better example for me would be baseball. I'll watch baseball no matter who's. I like baseball.
Yeah, I watch baseball just for the Cubs. I might watch a game every now and then, but for the most part, I will watch for the Cubs. I'm not interested in seeing the Red Sox play the Yankees.
Yeah, that's true.
I know a lot of the lingo to it, but at the same time, there's if you ask me some giant great moment and it was before the year 2013, I wouldn't be able to tell you. And it's the same thing with basketball. Once Derrick Rose got hurt, I stopped watching. I realized I was more of a Derrick Rose fan than a Bulls fan. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
NFL, I've realized that for the most part, I only watch the Vikings. And NASCAR, I've realized I'm more of a NASCAR fan than I'm a Dale Jr. fan, but I'm also a NASCAR fan. And I think that's the thing that NASCAR needs to aim with its fans. Like how many, I want to ask the comment section, put 1 for yes, 2 for no. Would you still watch NASCAR if your favorite driver wasn't racing? Now, I understand that a lot of it will be skewed because these guys are pretty diehard. But at the same time, how many can you say for a casual fan? Say there's a person who's a fan of, I don't know, what's Jimmy Johnson. Do you think someone who's a fan of Jimmy Johnson would watch this year had Jimmy Johnson not been racing? I mean, Jimmy Johnson probably wouldn't, it probably might be better if Jimmy Johnson wasn't racing for him.
Only
there's a lot of ones. There's all ones, yeah. Now we're all diehard fans here. You got a lot of these guys are tuning in each week. Now, how many of the people who might just watch the plate races and short track races or a road course race or turn it on every now and then, how many of them are going to be putting 1 in the chat? We're all diehards. We're a different breed compared to these ones.
Here's the thing that I've never gotten is when people say, "Oh, well, Dale Jr.'s retired. It's not worth watching anymore." Excuse me, did you even watch? Because it definitely, take it from a Dale Jr. fan, it wasn't anything special for him to be out there.
No, it wasn't great.
It was sort of like an abusive relationship. You just kept going back, even though you knew it was going to suck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of the point I'm getting at, and that's why I can't say that necessarily the points system is the biggest problem. The biggest problem with racing is racing. Like I know that sounds like stupid and redundant, but it's kind of true. I mean, I will admit the Gen 6 has been probably the most boring years compared. If you look at just general racing, there's been amazing moments, but it's kind of like movie ratings. Like you'd watch a movie that's like, yeah, good scenes doesn't mean it's a good movie. It's like I liked scenes in Jurassic World doesn't mean I think it's a good movie.
It's like it's been like a bad horror movie with a few really good jump scares that get you out of your seat.
It's been like Deep Blue Sea. There's that one scene everyone remembers with Samuel L. Jackson getting eaten by a shark. Does anyone else remember the movie? Or Snakes on a Plane? It's the Samuel L. Jackson factor. Samuel L. Jackson's movie is good racing.
Samuel L. Jackson getting eaten by a shark. It's just very satisfying to watch him get eaten by a shark, to be honest.
Samuel L. Jackson to movies is good racing to NASCAR. Like that is that it factor. That is what gives it personality. Because if you think about it, good racing for the most part leads to good championship battles, no matter what the system is. Good racing leads to more fights and more crashes, which will draw in other fans. And good racing leads to more notoriety and more hype going out and more media coverage, I guess. So the root problem is the racing, is as much as the championship stuff. Once we can solve the racing, I think is really when we need to start actually talking about the championship.
I would 100% agree.
I'm hoping with this Gen 7 car, hopefully it'll all get taken care of. So really quick, sorry guys. I got in a FaceTime call and I guess that messed with the Google Hangouts thing. So that's why I was like, you couldn't see me and stuff. So I had to come back in and all that stuff. But yeah, I would have to agree with what Jarrett said there. Let's fix the cars first and then we should worry about the points.
Well, and Rusty says we should let JC deliver his speech next. Speech.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of talking over here.
I've just been trying to be patient, but at the same time, a lot that I've been wanting to say has been said, such as, from my perspective, the points format, before I go talking about anything else, is that the whole win in your in situation, it kind of keeps it from mattering how well you finish, because obviously if you win a race and you're in, then all you got to do is not finish badly in other races. You don't have to try to win just because you want to win a race. I like it whenever you go to race and you want to win the race because you like winning. Like you usually okay, I'm gonna lay back so I don't wreck my race car and lose a bunch of points or something. And at the same time, whenever you go into the playoffs, the win in your in situation, consistency matters the most. Not getting knocked out of the ability to win a championship just because you didn't win a race. And whenever it comes to the aero package, of course, if they fix that and make it so the racing was as good as it was, say 10 years ago, until they got the cars so low to the ground that you can't take advantage of other drivers, it's like, whenever it comes to dominating a race, it's easy to dominate a race once you get the lead. But it's not easy to win a race because it's so easy to dominate. Once you're the leader, you get clean air and you're gone. But if you're not the leader, then you're just racing for second, apparently. And this whole aero package is what needs to be fixed, of course. It's the racing that needs to be focused on first, and the championship format. Everybody, for the most part, wants someone who deserved to win the championship, but obviously someone that deserved to win the championship is the person who does the best. And this points format, it's basically saying that someone can, it's always been said that one person could win 35 races, they get to the final race and they don't win. Instead, it's like the final four and someone else could win it. Chase Elliott's going to get a championship at this rate if he does well in the final race and somehow makes the playoffs but never wins. And with that in mind, it's most important right now that they make the racing good. And as far as the points format goes, someone that deserves to win the championship actually wins the championship.
That style works for sports like basketball and football, because in those cases, you have only two teams. Only one of two can win. Your chance of 50-50. Racing, entirely different. You're one of 40 people out there. So that system can only work for sports where it's one team versus one team, not 1 versus 39.
There's too many variables. I mean, you can make the argument in other sports, injuries play a factor. You could have the better team get their best player hurt or something, but that doesn't happen often enough to probably be a major issue. But yeah, I think you're right. It's important.
Actually, many situations like that, such as Matt Kenseth, like he really wasn't doing that so much. Which was the championship that he won? There was a controversy about it because of how he wasn't. Was it because he was winning so many races, or was it because he wasn't?
Won one race.
And he won one race, and it was consistency, and they didn't feel like he deserved the championship. But in the other situation, there's Sterling Marlin. He lost the 2002 championship because of an injury, and he probably could have gotten that instead of Tony Stewart. And I love Tony Stewart. He's my favorite driver of all time. But still, I feel like Sterling Marlin could have gotten that if it wasn't for his injury towards the end of that season. So you get those same things that you get in other sports, but whenever you try to make it like other sports, you try to enforce it, whenever it's not right, because NASCAR is its own thing while also having its similarities. They shouldn't force it to be what other sports are.
I think you're right. I think that's where I'll agree that I think the knockout and playoff format is not the best option, because I think it is too much like other sports. It is trying a little too hard to be like other sports. I guess my just point is I don't know what the best option is in the long run, because like I said earlier, I'll bet if you'd asked football fans, I don't really know the history of football, so this is a bad example. But if you'd ask football fans 40 or 50 years ago, do you like the way, or how long the Super Bowl's been a long way too long? I don't know. I just feel like when sports were first invented, I'll bet there were people that were like, why do we have a playoff format? Why is it not just the best team at the end of the season with the best record, most points, etc., wins? And I'll bet there was blowback at first. I just wonder if down the road, 30, 40 years from now, does it make most sense for NASCAR to keep some sort of playoff system? I'm not going to endorse the current one because I hate the winning you're in. And I lean more towards the 10 race playoff, the 10 drivers like we had in the mid 2000s. I'm just saying, I just wonder what's the best option for NASCAR. And that's why I don't know. And I don't even think the fans know, honestly.
Yeah. I should ask, you want me to read the rest of the points, or should we just move on?
I've been kind of looking at them, but sure, you can read them for the people at home.
This is how the whole conversation started.
Yeah, the darn points.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and restart, and then we can go from there. Kevin Harvick 5 wins, Kyle Busch 4, Martin Truex Jr. 2. Then we got 1-1-1 for Logano, Boyer, and Dillon. 7th is Brad Keselowski, 8th Kurt Busch, 9th Denny Hamlin, and 10th is Kyle Larson. Now, within 100 points of the cutoff line is not Ryan Blaney. He's 103 up in 11th. Then 96 up is Eric Almirola in 12th. Now, 50 up in 13th, Jimmy Johnson, who has 2 top 5s and 6 top 10s this year. So quietly moving his way up a little bit. Chase Elliott, on the other hand, is only 24 points above the cutoff line. Same number of top 10s, 1 plus top 5. Eric Jones, he's 12 up over the cut line. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 16th. He's the last one in the chase. He has 9 points above. 17th place, Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman, again, 9 points behind Stenhouse. Then you got to go another few points. 30 points behind Stenhouse is Get Hard from Menard. And then I'm not even going to keep trying because it's so low, so many points below. So 19th, Daniel Suarez. 20th, Jamie McMurray. William Byron, 21st. 22nd, No Neck Newman. Bubba Wallace, 23rd. Walmendinger, 24th. David Reagan, 25th. Chris Buescher, 26th. McDowell, 27th. Pretty Boy, 28th. No Talent Dylan, 29th. And Deep Burrito, 30th. Any thoughts?
Well, go Ty Dillon.
Burrito needs a better car.
Yes.
Look, I'd say I make this
So much.
if you put DeBenedetto in Ty Dillon's ride, he would probably do way better. He'd probably get that ride into the top 20.
Top 25 in points.
Keep in mind, DeBenedetto was originally in the Gibbs system.
Well, I mean,
That's right. Yeah.
same
he wasn't
time,
great.
Kyle Busch for his standard was well below it when he was in Hendrick too.
Imagine if during that time in 2009, if Kyle Busch wasn't trying to win a championship in the Nationwide Series he didn't need, if he would have ran something more part-time, like say they brought out the, I don't know, okay, say that he was using the 20, that was more of a part-time deal that year. Say they were using that more for Kyle Busch, and they gave someone like Matt DiBenedetto a full-time car back then. Wonder how Matt would have been back then.
I think it's a different driver with different amounts of experience. I think people might not play as much a factor thinking of it like that. I mean, while Kevin Harvick was good at Childress, I think he was keeping Childress's what the fuck you call it, equipment up, and now he's with Stuart Haas, and it's just like, he's to the moon and back better. I think that, I mean, look at Joey Logano. He was mildly mediocre with Gibbs. He went over to Penske, and I don't think there's been a year he hasn't won. So I think
he won last year, but they cucumbered.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, he still won, and I don't know. I think his DiBurrito's problem. I can't even remember his name anymore. I just keep remembering that. His biggest problem. DiBenedetto, yeah. His biggest problem is that I think he went at the wrong point of his career with Gibbs, and he didn't get enough of a chance. I think if he was ever blessed to have a second chance, I would like to see what he could do. If he could get a year or two, like in Gibbs, or I don't know, what's a team that could open up soon?
Yeah, probably
even Hendrick.
There is if you want to see him like maybe get a chance at like good equipment in a lower series, there's a team that's slowly coming up that I think could eventually be like KBM 2.0. MDM Motorsports is slowly moving up to being, they're already pretty elite equipment in the ARCA series, and they're going to be working on their truck series program, and probably going to look into other series probably after that. If you want to see someone like DiBenedetto go back down to a lower series and be at a pretty high level of competition, that would probably be a good team to look at.
If he went down to the truck series in a competitive ride, he would win, hands down. He would win the truck
over and over and over again.
Yep.
I think
now,
interesting.
Xfinity, I don't really know about Xfinity, but trucks definitely.
Looking at that those point standings again, I think it's interesting. After the incident with Hamlin this weekend, now Hendrick's only got 2 cars in the top 16 again, and Roush has a car now in 16th, would make the playoffs ahead of Bowman. Just think it's interesting how 1 week can change everything.
Yep.
All right. So, go ahead, man.
I was going to say, I think just pointing this out here, we're reaching about the 2.5 hour mark here.
Yeah.
So
I was just about to say that. So, so really quick, one last thing before we do our outros and wrap this whole thing up. This is a great stream, by the way. Great stream. Really quick, I wanted to ask you guys this. So this is an argument that I have with my stepdad. We talk about NASCAR. I really got him, like my family's really gotten him into NASCAR and stuff. And we had this argument the other day. He watched one of my live streams, and he told me that you guys talk so much crap on Danica Patrick. And he's like, why do you guys do that? Well, because she was terrible. She just wasn't, she wrecked a lot and all that stuff. You know, she just wasn't very good. And then he
She
said,
was actually getting better. In her final couple of seasons, she was improving, but she was just improving to mediocre status. She wasn't like actually, she was terrible, and then she got mediocre, and that's about it.
It was obvious she was never going to win, and that's plain and simple.
Yeah, okay, so she was going from terrible to below mediocre. So that's not really, yeah, but yeah, I get what you're saying there. And he was like, well, not like most of the wrecks weren't her fault. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he was all like, well, like they were the other guy's fault. You guys have said, well, most of the wrecks were caused by her, but that's not true. Like, but
That's
I'm
something
seeing
I've seen as well. Casey Kane wrecked her, Kyle Busch wrecked her, Joey Logano wrecked her, but that was on accident because
no, but really quick, the question is really quick. Weren't most of Danica's wrecks her fault?
I would say yes
and
no.
Those were the wrecks that you were getting whenever she was getting better. Like she started getting just a little bit better, but she was still getting wrecked, except it wasn't her fault anymore. Except there were a few occasions where I remember, like at Daytona, where she jumped into a wreck all on her own. That was so memorable for me.
I would say yes. I would say yes and no for this reason. No, because a lot of them were other drivers, but yes, because she was performing to the point where she was back there in the position to be wrecked. You notice a lot of these drivers, you don't see Kyle Busch wrecking like that a lot. You don't see Kevin Harvick for the most part, unless he's like not starting in the front. And it's because they're not in this position. My grandpa and I always have this saying, and we'd say it when Junior got wrecked, Elliott, Gordon, it didn't matter. When one of these drivers who's expected to be up front was in the back, is you run with the squirrels, you're going to get your nuts cracked. And that's what happens. Danica Patrick was always back there. Yeah, it's funny, but it's true.
I never heard of that before, actually.
But it's true.
And you run with the squirrels, you're going to get your nuts.
Well, and think of it like this. Okay, so she went full-time 2013. That was 2 years removed from Tony Stewart winning the title. 2014, Kevin Harvick went there and started tearing the world, just giving NASCAR, ripping it a new one. Danica Patrick was running the same equipment as Tony Stewart, and I think Tony Stewart's problem was more mental than actual driver after the stuff that he went through. So I say you take Tony Stewart out of it. Kurt Busch would be okay to good, and Kevin Harvick's one of the best drivers of our time right now. Danica Patrick, running the same equipment as them, was running 25th at best. I think the best points finish she had was 24th. She was running 24th to 28th with winning to top 10 to even top 15 equipment. You look what Eric Almirola has done.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the reason why we hate Danica Patrick, I won't even say hate, I just say dislike and groan every time we hear about her, is because she got hyped up as like the friggin' second coming. Like this, she's going to be paving new ways for women drivers. And in my opinion, while she showed that, a woman can drive in NASCAR, that is not the best way we've been shown. She was more focused on her sex appeal, especially towards the end. I know people think I'm ripping off urinating tree with this. I'm not. It's the truth. It's just a redundant, and everyone sees it as a truth. She focused more on sex appeal in commercials. She focused more on being a celebrity. And
granted, there's a certain extent where that's important because you have to have funding in order to be in the sport, but there needs to be a limit on it.
She ran mediocre in championship level equipment. I mean, it's like if you substituted Trevor Simeon for Tom Brady, and you'd see that the equipment wasn't as good, the surrounding team wasn't as good. Now, say you substitute somebody for Foles or Wentz with that Eagles team, and they suck, and the team does horribly. You realize there's a common denominator there, and everything points to Danica Patrick being that common denominator while being hyped to the moon. So I think that is the biggest reason why, and the fact that she used that equipment to run badly enough to be in position to be wrecked, which I think indirectly is her fault. And yes, sorry, Boney Chuck, I did say that. It slips out. It happens every now and then.
Not to dwell on Danica too much, just really quick. Sorry, I don't dislike her as a person. I just dislike her because of the hype surrounding her coming up, and you knew she didn't deserve it coming into it, and she never lived up to it. But that wasn't to be expected. Danica Patrick was a bad stock car driver. There's no way you can deny that she was a bad stock car driver, but she was a good, solid IndyCar driver.
Yes.
And honestly, we can't blame her for being a bad stock car driver because she was going up against people with 15 to 20 years of stock car racing experience, and she's stepping into this thing for the first time. There was no reasonable reason to think she was ever going to run better than 15th or 20th, and she never did. So honestly, I think, she's a bad stock car driver, but
I didn't hate her in Indy. I rooted for her in Indy.
Yeah, I was rooting for her at Indy, and like I said, before that wreck in the Indy 500, she had the record for most consecutive IndyCar races without a DNF. So she was a good driver. She's going to go down history as a good driver, and I think she deserves a decent amount of the hype and credit she gets. But she was a bad stock car driver, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I get you.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess is that it? Are we wrapping up? Are we good?
Hello, anyone?
Oh, can you hear me?
Hello,
Yeah.
it's me. Okay.
Hello from the other side.
It looks like Darian's froze though.
Oh no.
So do we just go on indefinitely until Darian comes back, or like
maybe?
do we just hide under our desk or whatever?
Darian.
Maybe until the second prodigal son returns, we should answer chat questions.
Yeah,
and make them quick, like yes or no stuff. We tend to be like a Led Zeppelin song and ramble on.
Talk about Pepsi. It's a delicious product, and they usually sponsor the Hendrick Motorsports team.
I hate it.
They don't sponsor us though, so screw them.
Yeah, I hate Pepsi. Like I just can't drink it. Makes me piss.
Excuse me. That's inappropriate. No one should ever say something such as "I hate Pepsi" because
it makes me piss like a racehorse, man.
Is that chair talking to us? What is happening right now?
I think it is.
Let's talk about Despacito 2. It needs to be confirmed already.
I don't know what that is.
Michigan winner picks. Rewind to about the 1 hour and 10-minute area of the stream.
Maybe this might be a good point to plug in also that I do have that playlist I put up. It's like when you look up NASCAR podcast, just go to like the playlist part if you can, and it should pop up pretty high on the list. It's going up the list pretty quick. There's been a lot of people watching it. Dude, I haven't drank a pop in like over a year, so
look at the guy retro can right here, man.
Dude, I'm trying to go through my 20s without drinking any pop.
The guy who controls NASCAR's channel is on drugs now. Cool.
Mountain Dew is the best soda.
Mountain Dew is actually made by Pepsi.
AB68, I'll email you tonight about stuff like with that.
So Darian is actually completely gone right now.
He'll pop up in a few.
I believe in him.
He's gone.
Favorite restaurants?
He doesn't know what happened. So guys, we may end up being just randomly cut off at some point.
We're on the 15-minute clock right now.
Should we go ahead and start? Maybe we start doing our sign-offs. If he pops in, we can let him sign off last. He is the host after all. But
yeah, we'll give our sign-offs. I'll go ahead and sign off for me, and then after that, we will. I guess we'll just read chats until this stream ultimately dies. Okay, so my name is Danny from Danny B Talks. My name is Danny from Danny B Talks. After this video, you can go to my channel and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know whenever I upload in the future. I did upload today. You'll enjoy that video. It's a great video detailing my thoughts and opinions on the NASCAR playoff system. And now I'll pass it on over to Eric.
Eric here. Go subscribe to me. Channel is in the title of this, E Dud. I'd have Out of the Groove every week where I talk about all the happenings in the NASCAR racing world. Thanks to all you guys again for having me on. Once again, it's always great to do this show every week. I look forward to it every Wednesday. Wednesdays are boring. It's just like it's nothing. It's the middle. It's hump day. Like, ugh. But these podcasts are fun. And tonight was a great episode. And somebody asked in the chat, whose channel is it on next week? Is it on my channel?
Mine. We actually put. In, I think I can read out like the next four.
Okay.
Really cool, like because I called Michigan at the start of the year.
Okay.
Okay.
So we had thought that my channel for Michigan, then Danny, it seems to be like the fan stream channel. It just seems to land on him. Then you can have Sonoma, and then we'll see I want to see if we can get Jesse Awuji for that one. That way.
Sounds good. Okay, so we'll be on the Icebergs channel next week. So anyway, I'm already looking forward to that. And what am I forgetting to plug? Yeah, my Twitter @Dex Racing. I'm also, at long last, people have made fake Instagrams of me. People have commented all the time, why are you not on Instagram? I'd like to let you guys know, I think I'm going to be starting an Instagram very soon. So you get to see all my hottest selfies and greatest photographic talents on display. Anyway, so out of that might be coming soon. So I don't know. I'm not going to announce what it is yet. I don't even know if I've made it Instagram yet. I think I have one out there. But anyway, that's all for me. So I'll turn it over to the Iceberg.
Yeah, that's right. I am the Iceberg, also known as Jarrett Lumberg. Some people call me that. You can follow me on Twitter @IceTitan80, also on gab.ai @Iceberg, I think it is. I don't know because I haven't went on there for a while. And it would be pretty cool if you subscribe to my channel and watch some of my videos and liked them. And also, it would be really cool if 2 more people could lick the like button. We are at 98 likes, and we would like to get to that good old 100. Someone asked in the chat if we could stay on. The thing is, when the host channel is cut off, it basically goes for 15 minutes for shutting itself down. So while we'll have the Google Hangout still up, it doesn't mean that we will have the stream still up. So please get that to 100 before the clock runs out, because we have no idea where Darian's at. He's been lost to the void. But yeah, you can find us next week on my channel. You also can find us on the playlist I created. It'll be there. Just look up NASCAR podcast. Other than that, it'll be really fun. Oh, damn, we're at 106 likes. Thank you guys. That is awesome. That is really awesome. The stream just keeps growing. We're having a blast doing it. We look like Eric's saying, we look forward to it each week. It's makes Wednesdays worth getting up for. I mean, I got up at 6 in the morning and was ready to go, and partially because I had this stream. So
Yeah.
I just got to say thank you to everyone who keeps watching. When we started this, and even through the first few months, we had no idea how many of you guys there'd be. And I know a lot of people say this. I know it's really played to death, but we really appreciate you guys coming each week. It really means a lot. It's really cool to be talking with you guys and see you guys' different perspectives. And I can't say much more. I am really, really looking forward to next week being able to host. Other than that, I think I should turn it over to our special guest, JC.
It's